Hey, welcome. It is Carty. Welcome to another episode. Today, photo reviews. I feel like I'm a little out of practice. I haven't been at my station for an entire week. But it's good. We are back. I made one video while I was away. I was trying to podcast, but the network was garbology. It seems that that's the thing that always is my limiting factor when I travel, when I'm trying to podcast. It worked once where I was able to podcast in Montreal, but this particular time was a no. If you guys have never seen me before, by the way, I help emerging and struggling photographers. It might be just like you. You might be an emerging or struggling photographers. I help you transition to the life of a working pro, is what I've been doing here on YouTube for a couple of years now. It's starting to rock. Almost, I would say, 3.5 years. This is as long as I've been doing behind the picture. And Ask a Photo Pro. The photo reviews have also been happening for 3.5 years. Just in the last short while, this really blew up, which is amazing. What happens is I give a photo assignment. I do it every week. How you participate in the photo assignment is you go to this link right here, which is my YouTube submission link on the Carty method. You can just go to thecartymethod.com, click YouTube submissions at the top of the page, and join. I have limited spots. I can only do photo reviews for so many people, and you'll notice I have on average 40 or so photos that get submitted, and I have a cutoff date. I have a cutoff date, which is usually the Wednesday before. This show is usually on Thursday. Today's a Friday episode because I was traveling and I did not make it back in time. Literally yesterday, I got to my desk at 8:30 and we left with plenty of time. Once I realized that I wasn't going to be able to make it in time, I just decided to stop and hang out with my 86-year-old mother. My mom is literally 86 years old, and it's hard because dementia is starting to set in. So any time that I get a chance to spend some time with moms, it's very necessary. So I had some time with my mom, so that was awesome. And my sister, and my sister's daughter, who is my niece, and her kids and husband, blah, blah, blah. It was amazing. So this week's assignment was I asked you to create a photo. And by the way, I give a weekly assignment, and in order to participate in these photo reviews, as mentioned, you go to the submissions part on my site and then sign up, pay your $10, and you get access to my submission folder. The submission folder looks like this. And the submission this week was create a photo that shows emotion or evokes emotion in the viewer. And this photo must be within your niche. It must be submitted uncropped, vertical. And I asked you to submit your image 4,000 pixels wide by 100 DPI. And I asked you to submit by Wednesday midnight. And again, if your calendar said Thursday, it was too late. So that was the requirements. And we are going to go let's look at the submissions. And we're going to start with Michael Stimatze. Michael was the first submission. I like to look at the photos in order that they were submitted. So Michael says R8 50mm 1.8 shot at a 60th of a second at f8 at ISO 640. Art is 85 years young. He came over to help cut up a fallen tree. The wood went to the widow next door. Gave her about 2 weeks of heat for this winter. This is Michael Stimatze, and Michael shoots some incredible work with, I would call it builders, constructors, construction equipment. This is Michael Stimatze. Michael, thanks for submitting. Mike, this is a great shot. I mean, does it convey emotion? I mean, when you're shooting an 80-something-year-old chap, like how much emotion is he actually going to capture, or is he actually going to convey? But I think that you did a good job, Michael. I honestly did. I do think that you did a good job. Let's look at it as a cover. I mean, it works. It's got good headspace. The only thing I'm worrying about is just a little bit of exposure in the skin tone. Your exposure in here probably could come up about a third of a stop. Also, watch your focus. Again, this could be the compression that's sent. I mean, it looks like the shutter speed of was this shutter speed a 60th or was the shutter speed 1/60th? It was a 60th. So again, you're shooting in shade. Just watch that you don't go too like what I call make sure you just don't go too slow with the shutter speed so you don't get actually camera shake. Focus wise, I see the tool. I mean, the focus is just a touch off, but I don't think that the focus is off. I think that it's just because you shot at a 60th of a second, and it's just a little bit of like movement when you're hitting the shutter. But the orange suspenders, the belt, the steel saw, the tattoo, the hat, the vibe, and yes, he's definitely giving me a little bit of emotion, Mike. So thank you for submitting. And again, shooting portraits, I want you to do more of more people using the tools that you photograph so often. Get more lifestyle photographs of those types of people, and you're going to find that your business is going to blow up. Honestly, Mike, keep at it. That was Mike Stimatze. Let's go. Thanks for submitting, Mike. Our next submitter is Ammon. Ammon Thompson says, Robbie is traveling, both excited and fearful. He's going on a trip tomorrow. Fujifilm X-T5, 56mm 1.4, ISO 125. Shot at a 250th at f8. Single strobe with reflector. This is Ammon Thompson with his photograph that conveys emotion. Ammon, thanks for submitting. Wow, this looks like the anticipation and the expression on this man's face. Yes, like I definitely am feeling it. Look at his eyes. Like he actually is tearing up. So the focus, Ammon, the fact that this is like a genuine moment of fear and anticipation, this is 100% a yes for me. This is 100% a yes. This is capturing a portrait, and look at it as a cover. The non-distracting background is super clean. The optimistic light really works for me because, again, it's not a dramatic moment, it's an optimistic moment. So you lit him optimistically. Although I have a tendency to say we should light males with a little bit more drama. What Ammon chose to do was light him as a reflection of the emotion and the moment, which was way more of an optimistic light. And kudos to you, Ammon. This is definitely an 11 for me. This is a banger. So great. I mean, you know I'm partial to a dark background and contrasting the background. You even have really good separation with his hair, which I want you to watch. You got really good separation with his hair, really good focus. You did a bit of a clamshell light, which is like, if this is him, you have a light here, and then a little bit of a reflector down here. So the light kicks here and kicks back up, which gives you nice detail under here, under his nose, and also just gives you just a little bit of kickback on his face, which makes the photo just feel a little bit more interesting. That's a good job for you, Ammon. Well done. That's Ammon Thompson. Thanks, Ammon. Ammon is also in my Pro Accelerator program, as is Mike Stimatze. Let's go. This is Calligraphy Ridgley. In my submission for this week's edition of Behind the Picture magazine, I highlight the power and uplifting effect of a well-timed joke to evoke a genuine smile. This is Calligraphy Ridgley. Calligraphy, thanks for submitting. This is a banger. This is a banger of a portrait calligraphy. Let's look at it as a cover. Really strong. Really strong. I want you to watch a couple of things. Just watch the closeness at which his elbow, I think that you could have got away with just backing up just a touch and having that elbow not pinch, his sleeve not touch, his arm down here. They're the smallest things. On a treatment thing, calligraphy, treatment. On a treatment thing, one thing I want you to watch, because you're doing a lot of black and white lately, I want you to watch the trend in black and white right now is very much a black and white. Black and white, it's not sepia toned like this one. It's not warm toned. It's not cold toned. It's just straight black and white with no hooks. So what I'd like you to notice is that this photo is equally as strong as just a straight black and white picture with no hooks. It's probably also equally as strong as a color photo with no hooks. So I want you to have a consistency with your treatment. I want you to make sure that this color balance or that cast is basically like, you're noticing right now, it's not really a look in magazines. So if the trend in magazines is straight black and white, then your look should be straight black and white when you shoot black and white. Make sure when you're shooting color, you don't go too high with the shadow. Sometimes with the last photo you posted of yourself, the shadow detail was a little bit too high and it makes it start to look a little bit unrealistic, which you're not doing in this photo. But make sure that your treatment and the color that you choose for your black and white look is something that you just stay with. And again, if you want to keep this, this is almost what I would call a selenium tone is the vibe. This is like, and back in the day when we used to print black and white, we would use selenium toner after fixer and after a rinse in order to get this look on our images. And it's funny because we can just do it in post. We also have to stay on trend. So my advice is watch the trends as far as what's happening with post-production and make sure that you're doing something that's super aligned with it. That is Calligraphy Ridgley. Thank you, my guy. I'm going to give you an 11. Watch your framing, too. Make sure you're not clipping elbows and such like that. Calligraphy. Great focus, great emotion, great shot. All right, I'm feeling it. Feeling it. That was Calligraphy. Good to see you back, my friend. This is Angel Louise. Use my 6D Mark II 24-105. Shot at 62mm with a ISO 200 speed. Shot with a shutter speed of 180 and aperture of f4. In hindsight, I wish I'd tried using my 50 and getting closer instead. This is Angel trying to capture emotion in a photo. Angel, thanks for submitting. Angel, there's something definitely like, I feel that you're trying to get something. I definitely feel it. Problem is that there's a little bit of things happening in post-production. Like I feel like you're doing some sort of split toning or something in post that's creating like a bit of a haze. You can see that the image is a little out of focus. It's actually quite out of focus. And it's not a realist. Oops, I don't know why I just showed that. It's not a realistic pose. That's the thing that I'm worrying about. It's fake. It's just simple. It's fake. She's pretend laughing. She's pretend kicking her foot up. She's pretend blowing a kiss. It's all pretend. And that's not what I asked. I asked for a photo that conveys emotion. And this photo for me, it's not it. And again, you have to really make her laugh, catch it. Like that's like, or make her cry and catch it, or make her mad and catch it. She can't fake an emotion because we can spot a fake emotion a mile away. So Angel, this is a miss for me, man. Like I didn't ask for, like, that's just, no, dude, no. Don't fake blow kisses to me, dude. No, this is a no. The cars are distracting. I see a nice window of non-distraction right there. If you just rotate yourself this way and hit her that way, you're not seeing the cars. Have her upset, like in this outfit where she's totally made up. Have her looking at her phone. Somebody has stood her up. So she's standing on the corner and she's pissed and it's real. Like if you're wanting to get her to act something, get her to act that. You know what I mean? And talk to her and tell shit to her until she actually gets pissed. And that's your photograph. But fake is, she's not Meryl Streep. You know what I mean? She's not a Hollywood actress that could just turn on emotion and make it look real. She's just your friend. You know what I mean? So, Angel, this is a miss from you, my guy. Thanks for submitting, but don't fake it, bro. You don't fake it. This is photography. Photography tells the truth. So be truthful. And I want you to notice some of the other submissions and the ones that you see me excited about. It's real. And it'll be a real emotion. Real. It's like, that's like, here's, and I should have showed this example because, this example from this photographer, and her name is Jill Greenberg. She was a very successful photographer, but this set that I'm about to show you, this set changed her world. And it was an exhibit. It was an exhibit called End Times. And the photographer that I'm speaking about is Jill Greenberg, Canadian, born in Vancouver, did a series of babies crying. And how she did this was she gave the baby a candy and she was there with the mother, and then the mother took the candy away. Or let's say it's the kid's favorite thing, the kid's favorite toy, the kid's favorite treat or whatever. Gave the kid the treat, took it away, and then gave it back again. Like after they got the picture of the kid crying. This started a revolution. You understand? You can't fake this. You can't fake emotion. You can't, and children cannot fake emotion. So when I ask for you to shoot a picture that conveys emotion, this is what I'm asking for. And this was the most controversial. People are like, oh my God, it's child abuse. It's like, it's a photograph. The kid was laughing 8 seconds later and the mom is there. But it caused so much controversy, as if Jill was like putting fire under these kids' hands or something to make them scream like this. So when I ask for photographs that convey emotion, Angel, I'm sorry to say, I'm not asking for this. I'm not asking for this. I'm asking for something that's way more real. I hope that hits home, my guy. All right, that is Angel. Thanks for submitting, my guy. Oh, Louise. Angel Louise. Germaine Dean. Created the She's All Grown Up Now engagement. No, she's engaged, just helping me to stage the scene. You're getting the feeling as far as the staging of the scene. Let's see Germaine here. Germaine, let me look at your setting, Germaine. Germaine said Sony A7R Mark III 7200 at 80, 3.5, ISO 50, 1/60th of a second. Strobe light with beauty dish and LED light. Let's have a look at Germaine Dean. Germaine, thanks for submitting. All right, let's look at a focus. Yeah, there's something about the sizing here, Germaine, where I'm not able to see the sizing full on. I'm not sure. There's something that I'm learning. Don't submit your photos to these assignments via mobile. If you submit your photos via mobile, they're restricted to a certain size. I can't control this. It doesn't matter what size you grab them from your computer and put them on your phone. When you're now uploading to my community, it compresses them. Just do it from your desktop on the desktop version of my community for the least amount of compression. So, Germaine, this photo, again, it feels fake. The hand at the face is fake. and the like, no, stop, no, stop. Again, total fakery. The artificial light and the way that the artificial light, the time of day where the sun is gone, but now you're lighting outdoor strobe, not in a way that's enhancing the scene. It's in a way that's creating a really strong artificial shadow that looks really fake. So that the shadow underneath her, and the fact that it's super dark back here, like this is a scene that if you've gone to this scene at the right time of day, you could have nailed it. Go in the morning when there's nobody walking. Like, just wait for the right type of day and then add strobe on top of that. But it's going to be a bright enough scene that you're not going to get this shadow. And you're not really able to avoid that shadow at all if you're lighting with strobe. How you avoid it is you crop her this way. Now that strobe is way less noticeable because you're cropping out the feet and you're cropping out the shadow. Now the light looks a little bit more believable, but the placement of the light is low. The reason that I know that is because of where the shadow is under her fingers. It's not high enough, so it's not creating any modeling under her chin. And she's also pulling her face back. She's pulling her face back this way. So because she's pulling her face back that way, you can see under her chin that her face is pulled back. It's fake. Germaine, fake expression on her face, and the light, and how her feet are posed. Like, the whole thing feels very like 1940s, like, oh no, stop. And it's like, it's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking for you to shoot a picture that conveys emotion. This is not fake an emotion and then take a picture of it because I ask you to make photos. What I'm asking you to do is make a photo, and in that session, catch a real emotion. Catch something that makes, that makes sense. Like, it has to feel legit. And this, to me, again, it's another fakery. And if you sent this to a magazine, they would say that's not what I asked for. So I want you to really, again, think of it in its simplest form. A crying baby, a laughing person, but it's a real laugh. It's a genuine laugh, and you caught it at the right moment that made it look amazing. Someone's really upset. Someone's crying, like someone's yelling. Like, there's spit flying out of their mouth, and there's emotion, there's hand gestures, like it's real, That's the kind of photography that I'm commanding from you. All right. So, Mike says his size isn't the issue. It's not 4,000 pixels wide, I don't think, Mike. So it would have, if I'd clicked that, it would enlarge the entire width of the screen. So this can't possibly be 4,000 pixels wide. All right. On to the next. This is Durell Scott. This is my tenant, Kamisha. She's usually a bit shy. Talked her into doing this photo this past weekend. Unfortunately, we had to use a lens that came with my new R6M2. Not as clear as I think I could have done with my 24-70 got stolen. So R6 Mark II 24 to 105, shot at a 15th of a second, f5.6 at ISO 100, used two LCD lights and flash. This is Durell Scott. Durell Scott, thanks for submitting. So I asked for a picture that conveyed emotion. And I'm trying, I definitely see this as an editorial picture. I definitely see it. I'm just trying to figure out what you're trying to say here. You know what I mean? I definitely don't feel any emotion other than this sexually charged, F me eyes that she's giving the camera. So for me, sexual energy isn't an emotion. It's just it's trying to raise something. And it for me, Yeah, for me, this is a bit of a miss because it's not the right, it's not the right image for this assignment. I mean, it being a cool picture and an evolution of what you're trying to do with your photography, I definitely see. But what I asked for was a picture that conveyed emotion. And again, lust is a desire. It's not an emotion. You know what I mean? Lust is lust is not an emotion. I'm thinking like fear, like that's a vibe, like love, that's a vibe, that's an emotion, but I feel like this is just a little bit too shallow. It's just appearance, like sexy girl, barefoot, guitar, studio, F me eyes. You know what I mean? For me, Durell, I want more from you. This is a great image if it wasn't an editorial portrait assignment. If it was an editorial portrait assignment, I would be giving you top marks. I asked for an assignment that evoked emotion, and this one, no. This one misses the boat for me for this assignment. It's just shoot this type of stuff when you're trying to, like, again, I'm always ask why. Who is hiring you to make this picture? If she's hiring you to make this picture, cool, make this picture for her. You know what I mean? But if you're trying to make your portfolio this way, that's a whole other conversation, a whole nother direction for your work. If you're now trying to make like Playboy type images, you know what I mean? So I always ask, like, why? What's the why towards behind this picture, and how does it convey the emotion that I asked for? For me, this is a miss, Durell. I know you're freshly back, lost gear, been dealing with ups and downs, my guy, but just stick to the script. You know what I mean? Be simpler, not harder. This is Durell Scott, everybody. All right. This emotion assignment, it's like, it's, I feel like missing, like people are missing it. Like they're missing it. Is it just me? Or are people missing it when I'm asking for an emotion picture? Matthew says, I'm sorry for the last minute post. Had a few other ideas that didn't pan out between work and moving this week. I didn't have a lot of time to do, but I really like this one. This is Ringo at the new house. R6 Mark II, 85 millimeter, 1/1250th of a second. F11 ISO 800. This is Matthew Wasinger. Matthew, thank you for submitting. I mean, definitely. Again, can you get emotion from a dog? Well, yeah, you can definitely, but again, I feel like there's many composition and the light and the black and white and the idea, like all yes, Matthew. But does it fit the assignment where it's convey an emotion through a photograph or show emotion through a photograph? Like, I love dogs. I have my own dog, right? But like only certain people, especially you're the one who's going to have an emotional connection with this dog and this place. I don't know this house is your fresh new house that you just moved into. So the emotional connection that I have to it, zero. The dog also, not my dog. So the emotional connection I have to this dog. So we're trying to convey emotion to somebody who doesn't know you, who doesn't know any context. I learned context because I read the backstory. I read the backstory, new house. I read the backstory, this is your dog at the new house, happy. So without the backstory, emotion doesn't just boom, smack, hit me in the face. Like I just showed with Jill Greenberg's Crying Babies. This is emotion. Hits you in the face. You don't even need to know the language. You don't even need to know who this kid is. This isn't my kid. I'm not connected to this kid at all. But this kid is conveying emotion. I see that in this photo. And it's so much easier to do with a human than it is with a dog. Dogs, I hate most dogs. They're not mine. You know what I mean? As I'm sure you do. Most dogs that aren't your brilliant, super highly intelligent, high frequency dog. You know what I mean? So because of that, there's no emotional connection for anybody else but you. So it's a picture that you have emotional connection with. But it's hard for us to, is for me to say it. So as an editor of the magazine and an audience and a reader base that I have, and I'm trying to do the emotion issue where this is conveying emotion. Do you want to convey emotion? Have this dog chasing and biting somebody. That's going to convey emotion. You know what I mean? It's going to convey this like the sense of panic. You know what I mean? Show Cujo like rah, 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 with spit flying out of its mouth. Like that's going to convey an emotion with the dog. But just him sitting and being obedient, it's just a nice dog, you know? So for me, Matthew, this one's a miss. And again, this emotion assignment seems to be something. And when I give you an assignment this way, and I ask for you to like think divergently, you know, it's not just like me saying, take a picture of your favorite object or your favorite picture, your favorite person, or make a location portrait or make a studio portrait or use artificial light or use natural light. It's not, I'm asking you to convey something. And that's a lot different. So it's good. And it challenges you to really start to think like, wow, is this how an editor is going to talk to me? Yes. Yes. Is this how an editor is going to? Yes. They're going to say, I need an emotionally charged portrait of this subject. Emotional. So they're not going to hire you to do that based on dog photos. You know what I mean? So you can't, it's okay. I'm going to say it from the rooftops. You don't have to do every assignment. If it doesn't work out, it's on you. It's okay. The universe didn't work out. But trying to fit something into an assignment that isn't what I asked for, just, you see what ends up happening. You know what I mean? Just don't do it. Just don't do it. If it doesn't fit, if you can't, like, think about it. If you wouldn't put this in your portfolio, why are you submitting it for review? You know what I mean? If you know, this probably isn't something that Carty's going to be too thrilled about, but I'm going to submit it anyways. Why are you doing that? You're not doing me any favors. You're just frustrating me. Seriously. Because especially if it's beneath you. If it's beneath you and you know it's beneath you, don't submit. End of story. Okay? Because if you do submit it, what it creates for me is lack of trust. I don't trust you anymore. I don't trust your work. I don't trust your understanding of an 11 and a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, if it's not an 11, it's garbage. That's it. That's the only way that you have to think. So if you're not able to produce your best 11, don't submit. Seriously. And regroup and do the next one and produce an 11 then. You know what I mean? Because this isn't a joke. You're not doing this for me. You're doing this for you. I don't care if you submit. There's so many people who care about this so much, and I help them so much. If you're not able to hit a home run, be okay. Hey, guys, I'm going to bow out. I'm going to put all my effort and actually start today on next week's assignment. So next week's will be a home run. You know what I mean? Seriously. Each time you go up to bat, knowing I don't have the time, I don't have the wherewithal, I don't have the goods, I'm not trained, I'm not ready for this, but I'm going to go to bat and know I'm going to strike out. Just to, like, that's not the right kind of presence, you know? So, like, if everybody submitted every time, I would have 75 pictures to look at. I'd have 90 photos to look at, and these shows would be 5 hours. So it's important. If you're not, like only do it if you can do it. Don't half it. Don't. Just don't. It's actually better because then I have less pictures to look at. I get less pissed off. And then this whole thing is bliss because I'm looking at a bunch of photographs that people had time to make and 100% put their 100% into. Sounds fair? Cool. All right, Matt, this again, it doesn't hit the way that it needs to. All right. All righty, who's next? This is Stu Bowden. Stu. In today's episode of Sibling Rivalry, the middle child has an unusually quiet moment while his elder brother is obliterated in a thumb war with their little sister. Handheld dragging the shutter to capture movement in the moment of defeat. The foreground movement contrasts with the stillness of both the old forest and the central child. Both are unaffected, but stand close enough to be drawn into the conflict. Monochrome is my preferred medium. I felt color diluted and distracted from the story. Fujifilm XH1 30th of a second, 16 millimeter, which is a 24 on an APS-C f5 200 ISO. Backlit by the sun, no flash. This is Stu Bowden. Let me wait for this to load. Stu, there we go. Stu Bowden. I loved the dialogue. Stu Bowden, thank you for submitting. Does this convey emotion? I would say hells yeah. I would say hells yeah. Not only is it an authentic moment, but the placement of the sun bursts, really great exposure on them, like really great. The main child being the focus, you could have easily fallen into the trap of shooting this as a horizontal picture and cropping it this way. You could have easily fallen into the trap of dropping it like this, but where would the masthead, where would the gutter go is what I'm trying to say. But as a cover, look at this as a cover of a magazine. Look at the sunburst coming through. I mean, obviously the masthead wouldn't be pink in this situation, people, but Stu, little claustrophobically tight with the edges here, and we get a little bit of clipping on that arm, but the expression, the intensity in her eyes, looking at the defeat in her brother's eyes is just epic. Like, look at that intensity in her eyes, the pain in his face, and clearly the movement, like the motion blur shows that this is real, and this intense referee watching what's happened, waiting for his turn. This is 100% an 11 for me. This is a photo that conveys emotion. It's deep. You used a beautiful location. Small things. I would have dropped the horizon line a little bit lower. I mean, it's tricky because of the elbows. So it's like, do you get up on a higher platform and aim down on them more, which literally will push this ground a little bit lower by aiming down on them? You can't really go low and aim up without then trying to catch this face underneath this arm. I mean, that is also an option, but compositionally, I think that you did really good, Stu. The only thing, again, is like this horizon line that's dropping right through the main middle of the picture. I would really love that horizon to be right here. But again, small things that I'm not even complaining about, because this is, for me, an absolute 11. Unequivocally. Well done. This is Stu Bowden. Thanks for submitting, Stu. All right. Stu Bowden. This is Justin Mitchell. Here's my picture of the week, shot at my son's high school, dodging the rain and cloudy weather. Saw the spot where I could get light reflecting off the white wall. This time was cold and windy. Didn't want him to take his hoodie off, so I thought it made a good after training shot the way he was. Sony A7R Mark III Sigma 24-70 at 70. F4 2/50th of a second, ISO 200. This is Justin Mitchell. Justin, thank you for submitting. Welcome to the Carty Crew submissions. I appreciate you being here. So, again, this I don't hate, because he's not needing to try too hard, and he's not trying too hard. Compositionally strong, Justin. I'm actually impressed with the composition. Let's look at this as a cover. Like, really, truly, like an editorial photograph. Although I know it's staged. It kind of walks that line where, to me, it's like, you set up this photo, but you allowed within this photo for him to do a little bit more of his own shit. I would have let him drop the ball shoes, just hold the ball, but have the ball lower so I can see the Stussy logo. Stussy's too fly to like not be pushing that brand. So you already have an Adidas basketball, you're pushing that brand. You have Nike shoes, which that's cross branding. So I would just nick the Nike shoes, use the basketball, or I would rotate the basketball to hide that logo altogether because it's not a necessary logo. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to do too many things. What I would do, again, drop the shoes altogether. Take the shoes out of the picture. Focus on just the ball. Rotate the ball so the Adidas logo isn't there. And then just focus on his emotion on the phone and the Stussy logo. And also, watch what's happening behind him. Watch what's happening here with these bright colors right behind him. The car park that, like, just rotate yourself just a little bit this way so you can hit him this way, and now cut out all of this bullshit that's in the background that's distracting you from what the main thing is, which is him. You know what I mean? So again, the light that's happening here, great. Just have him rotate, you rotate, and then just hit him that way. Small things, man. I mean, again, for me, I'm giving it to you. I'm going to give you love here. But it's like, get him into this moment and then say something funny and have him laughing at his phone, or say something like, like surprising, or just get like a reaction, or you text him something that he reads that he actually laughs at. Him holding the shoes and the basketball, it starts to feel a little propped. So make sure you don't go too far. I hope that brought you value. All right. That was the one they call Justin Mitchell. Justin, thanks for submitting. Glad you're here. Watch your exposure. Watch your exposure in here, by the way. This is low. I would drop this. I mean, I'm saying this is under by about a third. I want this exposure to be over here. It's okay if this goes a little brighter. Also, obviously, lint and shit like that on the hoodie. Black hoodies, you really got to check and make sure you lint brush them. Or in post, you're going to have to come in here and take away all of this stuff, because your art director is going to be looking at this stuff super, super, super close. All right. I hope that brings you value. That is Justin Mitchell. Justin, thanks for submitting. Nicholas Freddy, this week's assignment. It's not always what it looks like. Canon R6M2, which is Mark II. R6 Mark II, 50 millimeter, 1.8, 100th of a second, f8, ISO 100. This is Nicholas Freddy trying to convey emotion. Nicholas, thank you. Well, actually, Freddy, thanks for submitting, Freddy. Freddy, a light meter is so necessary for you. It's so necessary, my guy, because you haven't registered mentally what normal looks like. You see my skin tone, I'm a black guy, but you see how her complexion as a white girl is actually darker than my complexion as a black guy. So I'm gonna tell you a secret. She's underexposed. She's underexposed by a lot. This right here is under half to 2/3 of a stop. Okay. And then what happens because it's so under is you start to lose the blacks. You actually start to lose the blacks. And when you get in here into the blacks, let me do a little detail. Like your blacks are okay, but if I put it up against like a true black, like because you're printing this down to black, you're getting the improper exposure here. But if you did the improper exposure here, your black wouldn't go black because your exposure's off. So skin tone. This skin tone here is 2/3 of a stop under, meaning if you're shooting this at f8, it should have been shot at 6.3. And the only way that you know that is with a light meter. A light meter that registers and meters light within 1/10 of a stop. When you're using a flash, it meters your light within 1/10 of a stop, or you wing it. And each time you wing it, it takes away from this idea where you are showing this dichotomy between these two people, but you understand, like, the whole idea, Freddy, the whole execution, it's such a cool idea, but it's on an underexposed picture, which is a wash. It's just like an out of focus picture. I don't care how great the idea is. If your picture's not technically sharp, if you're doing client work, it's gonna be like rejected, unless you're shooting fashion and like a little bit of blur is like acceptable, you know? Like for the most part, you're really going to want to have perfect exposure and perfect focus. And if you don't have a meter, you need to learn what perfect exposure looks like. And again, quick way to do it, go to Behance, grab any picture that shows skin and look at what skin exposure looks like at any picture. And then look at your photo and you can see the skin exposure difference, right? Like, look at the difference. Look at how clean and bright properly exposed skin looks like. And again, that. So when I call out that's overexposed, that's underexposed, there's a reason. There's an absolute reason. Look at how good properly exposed skin looks. And again, I just opened a random Behance picture, clicked it, boom, there it is. So you have to make your work. Even look at Jill Greenberg and this exposure on these babies. Like there's no hint of muddiness at all. And the muddiness comes from underexposure. So light meter, yes, they're expensive. Oh my God, it's $500. Oh my God. It's like, yeah. Or keep wasting your time doing photo shoots underexposed, like, how many times are you going to do that? Isn't your time like doing 6 photo shoots in a row underexposed because you spent all the money on strobe lights but didn't buy a light meter? So you're doing shoot after shoot after shoot and you think you're learning, but you're not. Because you're not learning the fundamental, most important thing when you're learning how to shoot photographs, exposure. You're not learning it because you're not metering it because you don't have the tool to do it in the studio and you can't manually meter flash. So they invented this thing. It's called a light meter. It meters flash. It's a tool that it's been around since like strobe lights have been invented. So yes, it's another thing that you have to buy, but how often I see underexposed photos because of lack of meter. And if you look at her eyes, you don't see any detail. You don't see any brown, like she's got brown eyes, but her eyes look black. She looks like, you know what I mean? Like she's got black contacts all over. Like it's because of exposure. So Because of that, Freddy, now I look, the whole picture is missed. The whole concept, the whole idea is missed because of exposure. So the light placement's a little bit too high as well, because it's giving her a little bit of like rings. And again, there's a few things that are wrong in this picture, Freddy, lighting wise, exposure wise, how high the light is. Just yeah, exposure, get a light meter. Idea, emotion, yes. Did you convey emotion? Yes. I would have flipped it and would have had her normal down here and crazy up here, because then the crazy is what you would have registered quick, and then you would have seen normal in the reflection. Just that flip would make, or two different emotions. One is crying and one is mad, or one is laughter and one is mad. Like, just this one being just a sly smile isn't enough as your main picture. I hope that helps. Freddy also, well, his name is Nicholas Freddy, but he goes by Freddy. So, Freddy, thanks for submitting, my guy. Ooh. All right. Let's see who is next. Next is Sebastian Kawaka. Meet Jennifer. I met her dropping off a kid at gymnastics, went for a little street photography session. Spent 45 minutes chatting with her. Okay, so she's an activist for an organization honoring the memories of animals who've taken part in wars. She emanates such positive emotions that just standing around her makes you feel better. Sony A7 Mark IV, A7 IV, Sigma 50mm, Sigma 50mm, ISO 100, 2.8, a thousandth of a second. All right, this is Sebastian Kawaka. Sebastian, thanks for submitting. Oh, conveying emotion is the request. Is this convey emotion? It definitely conveys some positivity. It conveys some hope. Again, it's hard to convey the feeling that you had talking to her when we weren't there, right? And again, I hate to be so dry. The composition of this portrait is great. The lovely energy is great. It's a positive, like, publishable picture showing a little hint of the chair is great. But a photograph that conveys emotion, like, she's too optimistic, she's too happy, but she's not showing enough happiness. I mean, how would you show somebody in a chair, like somebody at this age, happy? She's got to be laughing, she's got to be like trying to like hide her smile, or like overwhelmed, or she's tearing up because she's so happy. Like there, it's just, she's just posing for you. It's just a nice, beautiful portrait. Do you know what I mean? Does it convey emotion? Again, much like the dog photograph and the new house that was submitted earlier, you created this 45-minute connection with her. You created this connection with her, but you can't convey that connection through a single frame without some sort of like story to go with it. Like reading the article, seeing this picture, it's like, yes, amazing, like she looks positive, but it's like it needs to be like amplified a little bit for you to be able to get it just from the photo. Like, to be able to get it just from the photo is where it becomes really difficult with no backstory. And you're giving me a backstory in order to make the sly smile makes sense. And that's what I'm asking for, is an image that conveys emotion without a backstory. And that part, you'll see, it's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult. Sebastian, as far as a cover, as far as a lovely portrait of this woman, amazing. I mean, what I would say is you made such friends with her, get her to be an actor. Get her to feel, say, okay, what does it feel like when your knees are really sore? And she'd be like, and then you say, what do you do when your knees are really sore? And she's like, oh, I rub my knees like this when they're really sore. And you're like, what does your face look like when you rub your knees like that? And she's like, oh, I go like this with my face. And now you frame this woman up against this brick wall with both her hands on her knees, and she's telling you about the pain that she has, and she's in a wheelchair. And even if she's just acting out a scenario for you as a still image, that conveys emotion, right? This, without those prompts, it's just a beautiful portrait of her. So again, it's not a loss, because this is something that you can show as a portrait in your book. It's just a bit of a miss as far as like showing emotion or conveying emotion. I don't want to feel pity for her. She looks lovely. She looks happy. She looks content. Like, so there's no, like, you know what I mean? It demands backstory in order, you know? So, what am I going to tell you guys to shoot this week? Well, I already have it. I already know this week's assignment. I started making it out, but I ran out of time. All right, this is Nick Johnson. Nick, in my one-on-one mentorship program. I've been inspired by Abaddon since the late 90s, and his spontaneous portraits of people like Charlie Chaplin and Marilyn Monroe have always guided my desire to catch moments, not poses. I had this model in the studio shooting some images for her musical pursuits this week, but having gotten this challenge secretly, I wanted to capture some candid moments where her guard was down. Beauty is hard. The pressure to keep up is real. Between planned shoots, I asked her what was the toughest thing about her day today, and she relayed a story from work. She's a bartender, and I took a few extra frames as she contemplated her day. EOS R, 7200 at 7200 at 85, 1/200th of a second at f8. White beauty dish, f8, 0.2, 36-inch octo directly above her head on a boom. Shot tethered into Capture One, previewing the black and white conversion in real time. This is Nick Johnson, somebody who's in my one-on-one mentorship program. Nick, thanks for submitting. Nick, this is beautiful. Like, as far as, again, conveying emotion, this is so close for me. Like, this is, again, there's like a contemplative realness. There's like a oneness with this photo. It's incredibly technically well done, you know, pretty hair and makeup, you know, it's just, the light is really simple. Emotion, it's, again, how far do we want to go? This is another one of those photographs where editorial portrait, magazine cover assignment, artificial light assignment. There's so many different places where this could float. Emotion, like with this hair and makeup, it's like, could she shed a tear? Could she like yell at you and like, you know, like just something that makes it just not so pleasant. You know what I mean? Like, or if it's like, eye contact is riveting, you know, so her not making eye contact and not having any more than just a pleasant appearance on her face, you know, it's like, for me, it doesn't hit as hard as we can go when it comes to showing emotion in our photographs. Now, let me see if I can grab another example of emotion. If I search emotion on Behance, let's see, and creative fields under photography, let's see what comes up under emotion. Ooh, don't want to see. There's lots of, okay. lots of NSFW. So this is one that I feel like it's like this is something that you could give me to convey emotion. This is something that you could give me to convey emotion. Like, there's so many different ways. There's so many different ways that we can convey emotion. And I gave a loose brief for that reason, because again, we have to like really swing for the freaking fences. Like, some of the poses that I see are just conservative. So conservative. Like, have someone like yelling at the camera, like, show me something. Like, the reason that this set from Jill Greenberg is so powerful is she took something away from this kid, and the kid instantly cried. Instantly. Or gave a look like, are you effing kidding me? So it's like world-ending emotion captured in a still frame is like so incredible. So I just am asking, and especially when you're so skilled, like, we're skilled at certain things, but there's other things that we're not skilled at. And this is the divergent thinking that I tried to tell you about earlier. Like, one of the reasons that photography is so powerful is we get to choose the moments that we capture. And this week's assignment, I'm so excited about this week's assignment. I'm actually going to do it myself. Like, I'm actually going to force this on you with this next assignment. Make sure you stay to the end of the episode for this week's assignment. Nick, so close, man. So close, but not enough emotion. So close, so close. It's contemporary, it's refined, it's a portfolio picture, but you need to like start like demanding, like yell at the camera, and it can't be fake. Like, command something, start getting like eyebrow furrow, and like when girl starts giving you like, that's the like, get some emotion, get like, you know, make her like, if she's gonna cry, like, hey, can you cry on command? Yes. Show me. What do you want to think about? What do you want me to talk to you about that'll make you cry so I can shoot photos of it? You know what I mean? Whatever it takes. All right, that was Nick Johnson, everybody. Thanks for submitting, Nick. All right, our next photographer is Guera. Tip of the hat to one of history's greatest bands. Take me back to 1986. ISO 100, f16. A 1/200th of a second, single flash above the lens. This is Guera. This is a photo to convey emotion. Oh my goodness, it's the Van Halen logo. Thanks for all the music and the madness. Now, Guera, for me, like, again, seeing it as a cover, I have questions. First of all, I have questions because I know you're an incredibly capable portrait and people photographer. I'll say again, I know that you're an incredible, capable portrait and people photographer. And I asked for a photograph that conveyed emotion. For me, this photograph registers memories for you, because obviously you remember Van Halen, 1984, Jump, Eddie Van Halen, his guitar solos, playing for Michael Jackson, playing on Beat It, all of the stuff. Yeah. I know Van Halen. I know David Lee Roth. I know he left for Sammy Hagar, blah, blah, blah. I know all this shit. But for the people who don't, they don't care. It doesn't register. And for people who don't know this logo, like so many of the people who are watching that don't know that that VH means Van Halen, and it actually is a VH. So you thanking Van Halen, like that, it's just, it's a miss, because it's not conveying an emotion to a wide enough audience that is gonna, like, you have to create this differently. Like, there has to be a different way to execute this idea. And for me, in a brainstorming session, when you were saying, this is my idea, I would say, don't shoot that idea. That's not conveying emotion. That's a still life. And also, I would say, are you a portrait photographer, or are you a product still life? Like, I know you're in a smaller market. There's lots of things that you have to do, but you understand the photo of the week that you created on that set that you're sitting in watching me right now. You remember that photo. I remember this photo. All of my viewers remember that photo. That became your bar, Guera. It became your bar. So when that photo is your bar, and I ask you to convey emotion, how are you not shooting your wife? How are you not shooting one of these beautiful models that are on your sets? Like, how are you not, like, faking staging an argument with your wife and having her shout at you or something, or having her like crying or laughing? Like, you have such a baked in amazing subject. I don't get where from the last assignment to this assignment, you literally are just throwing away everything that we've been progressing, and you're showing me this. For me, I understand you're trying to challenge yourself, but challenging yourself, do it in an effective way. Don't challenge yourself in a way that, like, we're trying to move the needle. We're trying to move the needle. We're trying to make photos that make money. Photos that will get us jobs, and those jobs will pay us money. So it's like, if I'm asking you to shoot a still life, I understand. You submit this photo, and it's a great shot for M&Ms. You know what I mean? Like, if this was a product photography assignment, this is an amazing photo for a product photography assignment. M&Ms. I would just ask you to push the main product, which are the M&Ms, a little bit lower in the frame, because you can see it fucks with my masthead, where, like, the magazine name, like, I would ask you to pull in, to maybe put the marker up here, which is a little bit less distracting. I'd ask you to move the cigarettes in, and I'd ask you to, like, maybe pull the M&Ms in here. And then I'd ask you to be, like, a little bit more detailed, because remember, was it Van Halen who had, they only mess with green M&Ms in the rider? So if you really want to take it even further, you pull all of those other M&Ms out except for the green ones, and you put green M&Ms in only. So, like, that's one of those, like, how far do you want to go? You know what I mean? So, Grant, I feel like you have such talent for shooting people. Like, when we're trying something new, let that be within a realm where we can make money from it. You know what I mean? Don't throw pitches out when it's just like, unless you're completely like, okay, I'm trying this. You know what I mean? But once it's for public consumption, especially with me, when I know what you can do, and I'm trying to not, like, widen your scope. I'm trying to narrow your scope so I can have you tuned like a demon. So literally, like, you are a household name in your region. Literally, like, your skill set is so high. For me, no offense, this is just beneath you. That's all. Guera Wrath, everybody. Guys, if you're into this kind of content, hit the subscribe button. I don't say that often enough, but hit the subscribe button. And funny is, the more I say subscribe, you'll see below the subscribe button. If you're not subscribed for some reason, it will light up. When I say hit the like button will also hit like up. So hit the like button. I've gifted 10 memberships this month already. 10. Once we roll into next month, which happens in a week or so, I'll gift some more. I gift 10 free memberships a month, as do so many other people. Speaking of, I got to turn my smoke machine on, but if no one's going to be gifting, super chatting, or becoming a member, there's no need for the smoke machine. Members, by the way, are how I'm able to do these 3-hour-long commercial-free streams. If people don't become members, then I just turn commercials on. All right, my submission for this week brings up several emotions: nostalgia, sadness, abandonment. The zombie apocalypse vibe is a little strong as well. This photo is a part of a project that my hubby and I are working on. Shot with a Sony A7R Mark II f11 1/250 ISO 100. This is Cynthia Lily. Cynthia Lily, emotion. Oh my goodness, Garan Wrath, look at you now, like putting your money where my mouth is. Garan Wrath with the gifting of the 5 members. My machine is literally just warming. Thank you, Garan. I appreciate you. You're like, now you're making me feel all bad. Mike Lilly, you got gifted. There you go. Look at you. How are you not a member already, Mike Lilly? Garan gifted. Nina got gifted, and Mike Lilly, and Primo got gifted, and Monica got gifted, and Stevie K. All these people, I'm not even sure why they're not members already. All right, this is Cynthia Lily. Cynthia shoots places, and I asked for you to convey some emotion. I definitely feel what you're doing here. Curious about... I mean, the not shooting the building this way, I'm not sure if it's because of stuff that's behind here that is distracting and why it's like she's shooting it that way. I mean, yes, I see the leading line and the urban decay for sure. Sorry. Exposure-wise, just what's happening in here, detail-wise, like low in here is... I would call under by about half a stop. And I know it's because you're aiming at a scene that this sky and these clouds are so bright. So your camera is not going to be giving you detail here. So we have to like try to balance what we're doing to try to bring up this a little bit. Because it's high noon or close to that, you can see where the sun is quite high. And there's no real shadows. It looks like, I mean, yes, the sun just went behind the cloud, but the sun is quite high, meaning the sun is pushing down and actually shadowing under here. Does this convey emotion? Yes. More for you than us. Like the abandonment, the abandoned space, definitely. I'm curious as to the angle, though, because I'm seeing this Lost Highway vibe and this other hotel sign in the lot back here more so than what I'm seeing here. And this block of cement as the main before I see the building, and then what's behind this block being so dark means that this is taking up more predominant than I think what should be, which is this office sign and the fact that this is like a motel building. So Cynthia, for me, again, I want to see other frames. I'm curious to see what other frames look like. I'd be interested in seeing like what inside this looked like. Were you able to get in and shoot any of the rooms? I'm just not sure of the perspective. It's a cool photo. It definitely looks cool as a cover. I just want you to be a bit closer. Even if nothing else, you crop in so the picture is like here. If nothing else. And like just cut the road out. You know what I mean? So again, I know that messes with your wires and all that stuff, which is why I'm wondering why they're the main part of the shot. Those are my questions, Cynthia. This is a hard one. Conveying emotion with photographing spaces without some sort of like sad little left behind doll or something like that. Yo, G is him. First of all, the smoke for Guera for gifting 5 memberships is here. Thank you. Appreciate you. And G is him. Thank you for becoming a member. You get a little hit of smoke as well, my guy. Appreciate you. All right. So, Cynthia Lily, this so close, but I need some sort of left behind doll or some sort of a story or a little note left behind or something that gives me, the viewer, some sort of a connection to this place. I hope this helps you. Cynthia Lily, everybody. All right. Salim Madani. I'm on a movie set as a unit still photographer. Ammon just gifting a membership. Ammon, thank you. Again, I feel like I shouldn't. I feel gay now, nudging you. I feel bad. I feel silly. Thank you, Ammon. Salim, I'm on a movie set as a still unit photographer for the whole week. Between takes, I asked one of the actors if I can go on set and pose him. Had to bump the ISO higher due to a focused studio light and everything happening in a cell, so it's dark and moody all the time. ISO 2000, 55mm, 3.2, ISO 125. This is Salim Madani. Salim is in my one-on-one mentorship program. Salim, a photograph that conveys emotion. Lighting-wise, and I know that this is our main source up here, that this is our main source. Obviously, it's just lighting the top of his head. You get an apple box, get him to stand on top of the apple box, and that brings his face so it's more in line with where the light is. He is being lit by other light that's happening around here, but the exposure on his face here, especially on the shadow side, is so low. Even here needs to be, it's under half a stop. So this is under half a stop here. So the exposure here that's on the top of his head is where we need a majority of the photo to be. We need a majority of the photo to be in this exposure. Like this is the perfect normal. And in his hand here, this is the perfect normal. In his hair here, this is the perfect normal. So the light that's on his face, which now is everything that's here, is under. You can see how the gradient where it just goes from perfect exposure into no exposure. So because of that, we're losing the lines on his face. We're losing these cool wrinkles on his face and the expressions in his eyes and life in his eyes, like catch lights in his eyes we're missing. And we're also missing much of his expression because it exists in this darkest part of the photo where his mouth is. So, and then the arm up for me, we're like, this feels posed. This feels too Shakespearean actor. I would be happy with him just leaning his shoulder and looking at camera, and also like a little bit of like a scowl, a little bit of like I'm gonna come F you up. You know what I mean? Like something that like, rather than just a pose. Again, this next assignment is really gonna help you because I'm going to prompt this. I'm gonna prompt this. I think Salim, this is an amazing editorial portrait. I'd like you to adjust the exposure to make sure that the exposure in here in his face is better. I'm hoping by now you have a light meter, so you'd realize that your camera meter, the reason that your camera gave you this reading is because your camera saw this light and balanced the entire scene based on that. So small thing, crop wise, it's good. It works. Even if you cropped out that light, it works. Just watch the hand up. For me, it looks a little bit posed. It's Salim Madani. Salim, keep pushing and keep shooting on this set. Like, I want to see more. Give me more. More. That's Salim Madani. All right. Next, Natalie Bennett. My submission is titled I'm Scared Straight Out of Here. A photo shoot on Saturday turned out to be really beneficial in building my portfolio. We were able to capture a range of emotions during this session. Sony A7 IV, 85 millimeter 1.8, shot at 3/20th of a second at 3.2. You said a Miki 85 millimeter lens. I don't know what that is. An MEKE 85 millimeter lens. This is Natalie Bennett. Natalie, thanks for submitting. Natalie. This is, again, another one of those, like, like a posed emotion, a picture. I know that, like, I know no people who do that when they're actually scared. Like it's posed, and I understand that you're on a photo session, but the way that we need to make these poses is way more believable or way more like cerebral. You have to give your audience the benefit of the doubt that they can tell if you're faking a scene. Give your audience the benefit of the doubt. Imagine you watch TV, you see bad acting. What do you think? Do you think this person's pulling it off? Or are you like, wow, the acting is really bad? That's what you think, right? Now, when you see amazing acting, guess what happens? Nothing. You're immersed in the story. You're not even thinking about the acting because you're immersed in what's happening. The same happens with photography. Bad acting in photography is just that. It's bad acting. And in fact, for a trained eye, seeing bad acting in photography, bad posing, wrong moment, like it stands out as much as bad acting stands out to all of us. People who are acting fake, you know what I mean? Oh my God. It's like, oh my God, why is that person so over the top? You know what I mean? Like, we notice this stuff, but yet we do it in our photographs and we shoot poses where now that I've seen in real life that I hate people being over the top and fakery in real life, now in my photography, let's do fakery. Think about it, because Dr. Bennett, that's what's happening here and also the exposure. You're taking a dark dress and you're putting it on the darkest background. So contrast, take a dark background and put a light dress against it. So you have contrast. Like, that's what we're looking for, is contrast. And let's look at some examples of contrast when it comes to background choices. Like, that's all that we're trying to do, is take not the same color background and put it on, like, it's about juxtaposing. Unless you're doing a tone on tone, we're trying to juxtapose a contrast with the person, the subject, our work, our backgrounds. Like, that's the whole idea, is like, you're either intentionally going monochromatic or you're trying to achieve some sort of contrast with our background. So you can see that you're not achieving, like, there's no contrast, there's no separation. And in fact, her hair blends into the background. And I didn't even notice until right now that her hair is actually intentionally put into the foliage behind her, because the exposure is wrong. The exposure is under. You're bringing it back in order to save the skin tone, but there's just no detail down here. There's not enough light. This isn't the right location for this dress. It's just simple. You bring a light dress to this color, to this background, or you bring this dress to a light background. So there's contrast. And then you get the ideas. Like the hair, I didn't see this until 10 minutes after. which means it's not hitting right away. What you see is the hands, and I see that she's faking it. That I see right away. Then I notice that she's wearing a dress and that the dress is blending into the background. Later on, I notice the hair, which looks also like it's blending into the background, and there's not enough pop. So, location choice, Dr. Bennett, location choice. And I don't know what this Miki 85 millimeter lens is, but if you saved money on it, this is definitely why. It's not soft. It's not like, it's like, don't save a nickel in order to like hurt your future. Literally. Why do people buy Apple iPhones? Because it's just a no-brainer. It's like you just buy it and forget about it. It's why people buy pro cameras, pro lenses, pro gear. If you see something that's a discount, just because it says 85 millimeter, but it's not a brand name lens, but it's okay. It's pieces of glass that fit my camera. There's a reason that it's... I get frustrated because you're like, it's like so much effort on the photography, but you're like making the mistakes with the equipment that you're using. So therefore, all the photography that you're spending so much effort on, you're not getting the highest quality images that you can because you tried to save $200 on a lens. You know what I mean? So that's what I get frustrated for, is someone's buying a 24 to 300 millimeter lens, which has 32 elements between 28 and 32 pieces of glass in there. It's this big. It's so heavy. Welcome, JP. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's so heavy, and they're using it most of the time at one focal length. But it's 10 lenses in one. Yeah, but it's 10 bad lenses in one that are soft and low budget, and you can't use inside, and you can't, and it's too heavy to carry around, and eventually you're just going to stop making photos and shoot with your iPhone because of your 27 to 24 to 300 in millimeter lens. Buy a 50. You know what I mean? Buy a 35. Buy a 24. And the day that you're going out, be like, oh, I want this lens. Boop, pop that in, go shoot. Super simple. So, Dr. Bennett, I want to really, now for you, the thing I want you to think about is contrast. Don't shoot on the same, like, contrast. I know the background is green and her dress is dark, but they're both dark. So make sure you lock that in, okay? Dr. Natalie Bennett, thank you for being here. Ooh. I need progress, people. Progress. Emotion. Marilyn Williams. Marilyn Williams from New York. This is my first submission. I asked for a photograph that conveyed emotion. Spec. Sony RX100 V11. I don't know what V11 is. You might mean... I don't know what that is. You got to talk to some of my people in the community that can help you with this, some of this stuff. F7.1 ISO 100, 15.59 millimeters. Wow. Marilyn. This is a photo to convey emotion, is my ask. Let's have a look and see what Marilyn has submitted. Thanks for submitting, Marilyn. So, I'm a little speechless. What's up, Freddy? Glad you're here. What's up, Josh? I'm speechless because I'm trying to figure out the emotion that we're conveying with these boots. I don't get it. You've heard me, and again, it's a tricky assignment to come in on your first one. I asked for you to photograph something like that conveys emotion. Like, if you can understand faces have emotions, but if what you shoot are things, for me, my guess is you have no niche. You're not trying to be a fashion photographer, a portrait photographer, an editorial photographer, a car photographer, a product photographer. Like, you are just trying to be a photographer. And I understand that. What we need to do is choose a type of photography that you want to do. And if you want to do product photography, You have to help me with that because I need to understand where this photo of the boots fits in and where it would fit in to A, your portfolio, and B, who would hire you to make this photo. That's the next question always, is who would hire you to make a photo? Who would hire you to make this photo? Now, these are old Bluntstones. Would Bluntstone hire you to make a photo with their boots taped up, which is basically not showing their longevity? It's actually showing the fact that they wear out. Like Bluntstone, this isn't selling Bluntstones, which is the boot company that these are. So emotionally, these boots belong to somebody who used to have boots and now they don't. Like, there's too much backstory that I don't understand here. And for me, the whole thing, you know what it ends up? I just look at another picture. Like, it doesn't make sense. And what happens to our brains when we see something that doesn't make sense? We go like this. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You're at home. You're watching TV. You're flipping, watching. No. Next. No. Next. No. Next. You're on your phone. You're looking at TikTok. No. Next. No. Next. No. Guess what you're saying no to? All this stuff that doesn't make sense. That's not grabbing you instantly. So I ask again. What's the audience? What's the audience? Who's the audience? Who's asking you to make this photo? And does it meet the brief, which is a photograph that conveys emotion? Also, the left boot is on the right side and the right boot's on the left side, which again, I put my boots on the other way. Like if you're going, like it doesn't make sense. That boot goes on that side. That boot goes on that side. Yes or yes. So there's things that are just confusing to me, Marilyn. For me, it's a hard one to be your first assignment because I'm sorry, as you can see, I don't fuck around when it comes to photography. And people submit because they're trying to become pros. And I'm hoping that you're submitting because you're trying to be a working pro. Help me with your next submission with giving me a little bit of backstory as far as the why. The why is always the question you gotta ask yourself. This one is a miss for me, Marilyn. It is not conveying emotion. It is just raising questions. All right. Guys, this week's assignments, I'm sad to say, but too many misses. Too many misses. Like just either not listening, not paying attention, not reading the brief, not caring enough about your career to actually look at references, find inspiration to actually make a photo that you're looking at and saying, I can't believe I made that photo. Like, that's fucking mental. Like, that's how you should be looking at your own photos. Like, I can't believe I made that photo. But like, your bar has to be way higher, honestly, because literally I don't do this for me. I do this only for you. And I'm not trying to be hard. I'm just literally talking to you like any other A, professional photographer with my experience, or B, photo editor, art director, designer, like somebody who's in it, who's just going to be like, no, sorry, dude, just no. And they're not even going to give you the type of explanation that I'm giving you. They're not going to tell you why. They're just going to say no. Or they're going to see this photo on social media and they're just going to swipe by. And they're going to pick a photographer that actually gets it. Super simple. So I'm just trying to help you get it. Mike Morrison. Mike is a car photographer. This is shot with the Sony A7R5 24-70, 57mm, 125, f8, ISO 320. This is Mike Morrison trying to convey emotion. Mike Morrison, thanks for submitting. Mike, you kind of got me on this one, bro. You kind of got me on this one. You kind of got me. This is a yes for me. This is a yes for me. And I'm going to tell you why. Number one, I can't see this guy's face. And that creates this, number one, this tension. The way that his arms are crossed. Yo, thank you, Ashley, for becoming a subscriber. I appreciate you. Glad you're here. Number one, it gives me this tension. His arms crossed like he's about to go F up a racetrack. Let's go, WC. Thanks for hanging out with us. Mike, this is a yes for me, because just the light, the level of detail. I mean, again, I would like a little bit more polish, because again, we were talking earlier about contrast and the black helmet, the black background. You can understand like a white helmet, a colored helmet, a blue helmet, any other helmet color than black would pop. But the fact that it's a matte helmet, the fact that you're doing some nice top lighting gives me enough separation that I'm not pissed off at you. So good. Understand, under here though, we need a reflector. We need a reflector under here to kick back up that light, to give you that. You see how you have that reflection here? See how you have that, like, you need that light to give you that highlight here. That comes from an under reflector. You put literally right in front of him, laid flat like this, just under his arms with that same light position. Boom. Now we're kicking. It's not gonna light his face, because his face is recessed within the helmet, but it is gonna give you that polish that you need, Mike. But Mike, you are on the road, my guy. This makes me happy. This is an 11, and this photo, not only does it convey emotion, it creates tension. It creates this, like, who is this guy? What's he up? Like that. And again, you could have done this with a mannequin. You could pose a mannequin this way and literally put a helmet and take this photo. And like, obviously this is a real person, but I see you, Mike Morrison, and I appreciate the fact that you're taking this seriously, and I'm noticing you now. I'm noticing you. I'm gonna keep pushing you. This is a new bar raise for you, Mike Morrison. I hope you're smiling wherever you are. That was Mike Morrison, guys. All right. I haven't even looked to see how many more I have, but there seems to be a few. So we continue. How long have I been going? Okay, we're good. This is Kyle Gag. This is my father after a long day of working in the heat. I snuck in some photos with my 135 as he was taking a break with his wild hair. Some of the emotions I was trying to capture were exhaustion and frustration. I don't do many portraits, but I do really enjoy making them. Kyle is a environmental product photographer. Shot with the Sony a7 IV at 135, 1.8. Shot at 2/15 of a second at 2.8 at ISO 100. This is Kyle Gag. Let's go, Kyle. Thanks for submitting. This is a really simple execution, but it works for me. It works for me. I mean, again, this would fall under the realm of editorial portrait. This would fall under the realm of location portrait. It would fall under natural light portrait, simple black and white. Like, there's so many different categories that this works, but as a picture that conveys emotion, what I want you to look at is his eyes. And I want you to see how he is not looking at Kyle. He's looking at you. He's literally looking at you. He's looking through Kyle, not at the photographer, at the viewer. And this is something that I really pride myself in as a skill that I have the ability to do. I help people not look at me, but look through the camera at the person who is seeing their picture in a magazine. Like, that's who we're communicating to with your eye contact. Like, that's the headspace that I put my subjects in when I'm shooting. This photo has nothing to do with me, Carty. I am just a vehicle. I'm literally just a mirror. Let me show you to the world. But you're talking directly to them. I'm just the conduit. So, Kyle, the emotion that you conveyed in a single look, the wind-blown hair, the no F's given, the like it just is just real. And I'm about it. And I'll go to battle with this guy. I'll jump on a boat where he's running. I'll like, if he's like, we're going to battle, I'm like, you're my guy. I'm in your strip. Like, let's go. So I'm feeling it. I'm feeling this picture. This is a win for me, Kyle. This is a yes. This is a yes. And it is all because of the no F's given and this insane intensity with those eyes. Like, geez, Louise, your lens selection, your light, your exposure is all really on point, Kyle. Really on point. What I want you to notice is highlight exposure, shadow exposure, and how just this perfect neutral right here in the middle, the beautiful transition from highlight to shadow, like this type of nuance is so high end. And Kyle isn't even a portrait photographer, but he's a photographer. And I challenged him, and he took that challenge by not making an environmental product that conveyed emotion. He wanted to document his dad. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. Great job. Really great job. It's a fantastic photo. It's Kyle G, buddy. All right. All right. This is Marvin Miller. ISO 8000, 70 millimeter, 7.1 at 1/100th of a second. R5, 24 to 70. Room lighting. This is Marvin Miller shooting a photo that conveys emotion. Let's go, Marvin. Congratulations on the R5. Conveys emotion, yes. Authentic moment, yes. I don't think that you needed ISO 8000, but the thing that's insane is like the R5 can do ISO 8000 like other cameras are shooting like ISO 30, like, I don't know, ISO 3200 on some cameras. R5 ISO 8000, 10,000, it looks like that. So look at the color tone, that like it's all quite good, Marvin, and I'm glad because you're leveling up. Your exposure here is under by, I would say, a third. And again, you don't need to do ISO 8000 and shoot at 7.1. What you can do is half this. Imagine, pretend 7.1 is f8. Okay, we'll do that. So you're shooting at ISO 8000. You're shooting at 7.1. If you add one click, it's f8. So we'll call it f8. So you're shooting at f8. Okay. Now imagine, take this number, cut it in half. Now it's ISO 4000. And guess what? F8, cut F8 in half. Actually, you don't even have to cut it in half. You need to only drop one stop because that's twice as much light. So now you're shooting at 5.6 at ISO 4000. 5.6, perfect, easy enough. Drop it again, ISO 2000. Guess what? Drop this one more stop to F4. Now you're shooting F4 at ISO 2000. You were up here shooting 7.1 at ISO 8000. Guess what? Drop it one more time. Go to ISO 1000. Take this F4, drop it to 2.8. Now you're shooting at 2.8 at ISO 1000. But you're shooting F7.1 at ISO 8000, which is not necessary. Ever, 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 ever. Okay? Ever. Okay. So now that I've cleared that up, Marvin, all you need to do is shoot this picture a third of a stop brighter. Don't go so high with the ISO and don't go so narrow with the f-stop. I'm not saying for you to shoot wide open. My sweet spot is f4. That's my sweet spot, f4. I'll say again, my sweet spot is f4. So next week I'll see some people shooting at what f-stop when they shoot portraits? That's what I thought. Okay, so this now, exposure-wise, dropped, it's too low. So we're going to bump this by a third. This needs to be up a third. Eye contact is great. Also, I'm not sure with the sizing. Your sizing isn't, we got to fix the sizing. This isn't sized properly. I'm not going to get into it. I want you to watch the focus. The focus is here, but also the ring is really in focus, which is nice. Yeah, this is okay for me, Marvin. And again, I'm giving you props because I know, like, making photos is new for you. Making photos is new. You come from the school of taking photos, and I'm shifting your mindset into making photos as far as a non-distracting background, just nice decisive moment, nice easy likable light. For all of those reasons, for me, this is an 11. I'm giving you love. Now, what I want you to, I'm noticing, Marvin, I haven't zoomed in yet, but I see a line here. And that line here has to do with post. And I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you. Now that I zoom in, you see if, like, are you doing something to, like, brighten the shadow that's behind her here? Is that the case? Because this halo isn't normal. So make sure you're not doing weirdness. And if you didn't do something that caused that halo in Lightroom, it could be because you're at 8,000 ISO. So again, when you're in really tight like this and you're really looking at skin tone, that's when the ISO 8000 starts to reveal itself. So don't go higher than 3200. Even if you can, it's not really ever necessary. At night, I shoot ISO 800, bro. ISO 800. Like, at night. Like, you don't do ISO 3000, 4000, 8200 or whatever the heck. Like, you don't need it at night. You just need to pick scenes that have lights in them, that the scene itself is illuminated. You're not trying to walk into, like, a black room, go ISO 3200 or ISO 32000 and then shoot photos. Like, light is what makes photos. You can shoot great light with an iPhone. You cannot shoot bad light and make it look good with any camera. You can make great light look amazing with any camera. So this, you're thinking my camera is going to save this, but no lights. No, I didn't use any lights whatsoever. What you need to be thinking is, I need to learn how to use lights. That's what you need to think, Marvin, because lighting makes the photography. Lighting. Learn lights. Okay? That's the next thing. Marvin, thank you for submitting. Definitely conveys emotion. I love the closeness, the genuineness, and the honesty. There's no pretension here in this photo. This is just real, and I love it. All right. That's Marvin, everybody. Marvin Miller. This is Anaka. I call this photo Summer Break. It's more of a personal or editorial portrait of my son and his fresh cast. The emotion is real. He's upset and in pain and does not really want to be photographed. I only had a couple of minutes to capture a few images. Don't worry, he's no longer sad or in pain. He still managed to find a way to play his video games. Thanks for your feedback. This is Anaka. Anna. Mentorship program, also masterclass. Anaka. This is lovely, Anna. You really photograph your kids really well. Look at this as a cover. Like, Anna, you have a way of photographing your children in a way that, like, I haven't figured out a way to shoot my kids this way yet. And you do it quite beautifully. Technically, this is a beautiful photo. It's sharp. The cast, the fact that he's favoring his cast, he's looking off to his future. This shows emotion, man. This is it for me. This is a yes. This is absolutely a yes for me, Anna. Your consistency is so good. And again, like, I push you so hard. I push Anna so hard, and you continually amaze me, girl. This is brilliant. Again, I want you to look at this again as a magazine cover. How simple it is, how perfectly lit it is. Your exposure is on point, and it says something. It actually really, really says something. This is fantastic. Congratulations, Anna. Are you giving me a final count, Calligraphy? Or how many more? I'm interested in how many more. You can tell me that. Denise Vaughn, Canon EOS R, 85mm 1.2, shot at a 200th of a second, f4.5, ISO 400. This is Denise Vaughn. Denise, Capturing emotion. Let's go. Denise, yes. This is yes. This is yes. There's just nothing else to say other than yes. And I know that this is like a set that you've created or that was created for you. As far as a picture that conveys emotion, like, look at this kid's face. Like, absolutely. Absolutely. This is an image that captures emotion. There's some stuff that you're doing in post that I'm really just, what are you doing in post, girl? Like, honestly, his skin, when I go this close, no longer looks like a photograph. It now looks like an illustration. You are going ham with your filters, and whatever you're doing to clean up your photos is so wrong. Like, photographs don't look like this. I'm going to say again, post-production files don't look like this. This is not what it's supposed to look like. This is not what it's supposed to look like. This is not what it's supposed to look like. Skin is actually supposed to look like skin. It is not supposed to look like a cartoon when I click your picture. I see the blur so clearly along this edge. I see the blur so clearly here around his lip. Like, just no. Like, no. You had me here at like the whole like actual size. Sorry, let me get the whole picture here. You had me at the whole photo here, but once we start getting into, oh, for God's sakes now. There we go. At this size, yeah, looks great. Great shot. Look at it as a cover. Amazing. Amazing. Great shot. It needs a little bit more headspace, a little bit of more centering, blah, blah, blah. Great. At this size. Then I click on it and look at it 100%. Now, no. We don't do this to our pictures, man. Look at the Jordan logo. Like, it literally, this looks like a cartoon. Like, and it's literally embroidery on fabric. And you don't see that. It's just a blurry mess because of what you're doing in post. And the sad thing is you think you're doing the right thing. And, oh my God, no. Please no. Like, watch one video that says from raw to retouch. It says edit, or cull, edit, blah, 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 whatever. And it's like, I take you from import all the way to final client delivery. I show you how to do it, how I do it. What you're doing in post is literally murdering your files. You're butchering your files. Please stop immediately. Please. And Mike says that the new AI denoise programs are causing that plastic painted skin look. I'm saying, why are you using AI denoise programs on, like, well, because I don't know what I'm doing. Well, like, this is what I'm here for. I'm teaching, and I just taught Marvin how to not shoot at ISO 8000 and how easy it is to shoot with his same numbers to shoot at ISO 1000. What you're doing is don't use denoise programs, and find me a pro that's using that. Find me a working pro that does that. You won't find any, because only amateurs do that. So if you want your work to look like a pro, don't do that. I've never recommended it ever. So stop doing it, please. It's literally killing a great photo. Do me a favor, reprocess this properly and send it back to me. Thank you. It's just literally like, you had me. I was like, and then I click and I'm like that. And believe me, any art director who, like, imagine someone buys that photo from you and they print it wall size, and like every time they look at it, they have to see that blur that you like, that post-production bullshit that's happening in this photo. Try to find that with an actual working billboard out in the world. Like, go find a billboard, walk up to it till you're this close and look, and you'd be like, wow, I see skin, I see pores. Like, and then you realize, oh, people don't retouch like that anymore. So why am I doing it? You know what I mean? Intelligent imitation. See what's happening in the industry. See what's happening when you click on someone's photo and see it 100%. You see perfect skin, perfect, like, it looks as if they've done nothing. That means you should have your work look as if you do nothing. Like literally. The amount of bullshit, AI, automation, retouching, and all this stuff that I see photographers doing, it's like, listen, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Go as hard as you want. But just guess what? You're never going to make a nickel. Never. You're never going to make a nickel. Because the photographers that make a nickel actually study the craft. They know the craft. And they don't look for shortcuts. They don't look for shortcuts. It's like, I'm a Formula One driver. Okay, so I want you just teach me how to get from this side, the start to the finish line. Yeah, but there's a whole track that you have to go around. It's no, forget about that. I just want to cut across and just go right from me, right to the finish. It's like, yeah, but there's people standing there and there's debris and there's like, it's like, doesn't matter. I'm just going to go, try to go right to the finish line as fast as possible. It's like, yeah, but that's not how people do it. It's like, doesn't matter. That's how I'm doing it. Like, from my perspective, the 33-year working pro, this is what it appears like. It's like, I don't care what it means, but it just, that's what I want. That's the result I want. I'm just doing that. I don't care. I don't care what the consequence is, doing that. But then wonder, nobody's hiring me. I'm not making any money. None. And, why is that? You know what I mean? You spend all the money on the gear, but then you butcher the files in post-production because you don't spend any time learning what people are doing there. You know what I mean? This is six phases to this. It's not just camera operation. It's literally, there's 6 phases to learning how to turn this into a business. And holy, this is literally phase 1, which is just making photos. All right, guys, that's frustrating. That's frustrating. Please. If you're allowing AI to do heavy lifting, it's probably fucking up. Just FYI. And I want you to hear my language because I want it to register. If you're taking a shortcut, how good is it working for you? How much money are you making now that you're paying for this AI retouching tool? Amazing. How thrilled are your wedding clients who have no clue about the industry standards, what other people's work looks like? You gave them that and said it was the best, and they're like, amazing. Okay. Christina Nicole, I borrowed my friend's R5 and played around in the studio with lighting. Using 2V flats and octagon, shot 24-70 at 2.8, shot at 28 millimeter, 1/250th of a second, ISO 2000. This is Christina Nicole. Christine, thanks for submitting. Christine, big level up. Thank you for submitting, Christine. You have to be very wary of shooting wide angle. People, when you shoot people wide angle, it starts to distort. That's why I always shoot with a 50, because there's no distortion with a 50. It's how the human eye sees. Anything that you get beyond 35 is really distorting people. And if you're holding the camera this way, you're going to start getting people bending. Weird. So again, this is why I think zoom lenses are stupid. And I'll say it loud and proud. They're stupid, especially if you're a people photographer. You should be shooting with primes, starting with a 50, 85, 100, 135. If you want to go a little wide, do a 35. But anything wider than that, it's for holding the camera this way. It's for landscapes. That's what wide angles were meant for. And it bends. It starts to bend stuff this way. So when you hold that this way, it starts to bend stuff this way, which means you get weird proportions. So shooting fashion, it starts to get weird with body proportions and models and all that stuff when you get wide angle. Christine, let's look at the headspace that you have up here and the nuanced thing that this girl is doing with her fingers. Again, your photo is not sized correctly. I asked for your photos to be 4,000 pixels wide. This is not 4,000 pixels wide because when I click it, it would go full size. It's not. So please nail the sizing. There's tons of people in the community that can help you. And I'm trying to make a point here. Look at the headspace here. It's a hell lot of headspace, okay? Look where you're framing. You're putting her literally dead center. Dead center. So if you draw a line through here, through the center of the picture, you're literally, you didn't even move your focus point. It's an R5. You can make the focus point anywhere, but you just left the focus point in the dead center. You went like this, you put her head there and you took the picture. Like, the most nuanced part of this photo is her hands. Her hands. What she's doing with her hands is the most nuanced thing in this photo. And where's her other hand? Cut off. Cut off. Cut off. But we got lots of headspace. Lots of headspace. So do you see, for me, she's wearing pants. Pants are things that women buy in magazines. They buy the pants. They buy the shirt. They buy the pants. They buy the earrings. So instead of showing the pants as a feature piece that we can sell in this little look, you cut the pants out. Why? There's no reason, because you had plenty of headspace to like just do this with the camera and like move down and like actually. So it's frustrating. Look at the headspace. Look at how her hands are cut. Look how her fingers are cut. Look how the jeans are cut. Like, what are you selling? What are you trying to sell other than her outfit for a fashion photo? It's fashion photo, fashion photography. You're selling the fashion. So A, crop it so you don't see the jeans at all. You know what I mean? Just crop it. Have her move her hand higher so you don't see the pants at all. So now at least you can sell the sweater and there's not so much headspace. Or look how sexy her waist is. But again, it's so low on the bottom of the picture, it's an afterthought. So again, it's like, whenever you're pointing your camera at something, determine what's the important shit. And literally, like, it's so frustrating because all you needed to do is do this. Like, literally, there's eye tracking. You don't even need to pick a focus point. So, Christina and Nicole, I hope you see the mistakes. Your exposure is also low. The exposure here on her face is under by about, I'm going to call it a third. Shooting in the studio with no light meter is always going to result in underexposure. I'll say again, shooting in the studio without a light meter will always result in underexposure. This is under by about a third, maybe 0.2 of a stop. So make sure that you're really thinking about this when you're in the studio, when you're lighting. Be really thinking about this. Like, you see, like, I'm obsessive about this. You want to shoot, are you trying to be a fashion photographer? Are you trying to shoot portrait? Like, also determine, Christine, what it is that you want to shoot. Are you trying to shoot fashion? Are you trying to do this? You're borrowing this, shooting this. It's like, okay, got it. But like, choose a lane. You understand? If you were a sprinter, you're in lane 1. If you start running in lane 2, the judge flags you and it's like, you cross the lane, you're out of the, like, stay in your lane. Run as fast as you can in your lane. People will recognize you if you run within your lane. As soon as you start jumping lanes, like, you can't possibly finish your race if you don't know what race you're in. Do you know what I'm saying? So determine what type of photography you want to do. Do you want to be a fashion photographer? If that's it, I can help you. Do you want to be a portrait photographer? If that's it, I can help you. Like, but you have to really like start telling me, this is the kind of photographer that I want to be. This is the type of work that I want to get. This is the type of clients that I want to work for. This is the type of photography that I want to be known for. Start asking yourself those questions and only make that work. That's it. All the other shit that you shoot, stop shooting it. Seriously. You'll be way better, way faster. And oh my God, for the love of Christ, please notice your frames. Like, don't give me 4 inches of headroom when I only need 2. And don't crop out the pants when these, like, this sexy waist and like, this is the hottest part of this photo, but you're cropping it off. Her hand, hottest part of the photo. And also, because you're shooting wide angle, look at how massive this hand looks compared to this hand. Yes or yes? Look at how massive this hand looks compared to this hand and this head. Do you see how the proportions are off with that hand versus that hand? So that's because you're shooting a person wide angle vertical, and it fucks up the proportions. So there is a method to my madness, but you understand, people just pick up a camera and want to go do it. It's like, have fun, but good luck making money. Seriously. Because the people who hire photographer, like, they know more than me. I've been doing this for 3.5 decades. But the people who are art directors, designers, and stuff that they pay attention to, you think that I'm insane with the details that I notice? This is maybe why you're not getting hired. Because the people who have hiring power, they look at portfolio after portfolio after portfolio. It's like, no, they don't get it. No, this photographer gets it. That's it. It's literally, it's simple as this. You get it, you don't get it. That's it. This one gets it. This one doesn't get it. Now let's look at all the photographers who get it, and let's determine from these photographers who we want to work with, who we like. You know what I mean? But if you're in a pile of people who don't get it, you're never going to get into the pile of people who get it with the work that you're currently showing, because you're not showing an understanding of the industry. That's what I'm trying to show you with these photo reviews. Like, there's such an undertone, man. There's such an understanding, and like the simplest things, if you're missing the simplest things that I say 1,000 times, literally 1,000 times. Still missing it. Still every week I see the same shit over and over and over again. After a while, you can imagine being me, I want to fucking kill myself. Seriously. But again, I'm trying to help. You know, I'm trying to help, and I am trying to help. And everybody catches me it clicks for everybody at a different time. And I totally get that. But if you're new to submitting, watch old episodes is the first thing that I would say. Go watch old episodes. Watch the cross references that I do. Watch the places that I pull from to like try to set photographers on the right path. Like, just watch, like, because that'll help you maybe set you on the right path. So you're not sending pictures of boots when I ask for emotion conveying photos. All right. So as far as conveying of emotion, this is very close. I'm going to give you love because I'm hard on you. But I want you to be serious when it comes to your framing, decisive moment, and what the most important moment in this picture is. Please don't drop your heads dead center. Shoot like you're shooting for magazines and take this serious. All right, guys, that was Christina Nicole. Mats Carlson. Hello again. Emotion within my niche. Being a people editorial, or at least what I think for now, a people editorial photographer. This is from the Tour de France. Never heard of it. In Nice. I can sense mixed emotion, joy, excitement, and a feeling of accomplishment. So he picked a place where he could capture the riders and waited 2 hours before the peloton arrived. It was a chance, but I think I got something that catches the feeling of what was happening. R6, 100 to 500 at 238, F9, 1600 at ISO 8. This is actual Tour de France riders by Mats Carlson. Mats, thanks for sharing this with us. I watched, I'm a pro cycling fan. It's the only sport I watch. So of course I watched the Tour. Let's go. This is epic. This is exactly, as far as like a people or a lifestyle photo, definitely. As far as like the file and your file management, what you're doing to your picture that is causing such contrast and such like explosion of grain. This comes from data loss. I'm going to say always, this comes from underexposure. Always when there is grain like this. This is always underexposure. Now, when I look to your settings, you shot ISO 800 with an R6. There's no way that ISO 800 looks like this. So my question, what are you doing in post? What are you doing in post that is making your file look like this? Because this no longer looks like photography. This looks like illustration. So because of that, I need you to help me here. I need you to help me understand what you're doing, because this is too contrasty. This is too digital. Like, this is just too digital. Even in shadow detail, it's not supposed to look that digital. So that is my question. Like this here, which is again a bright sunny day, there's no reason why I should have this type of grain, and especially with your settings. So that's a post-processing thing. And also, you're doing a shadow highlight thing, meaning this is a black bib short. I see this white thing here. This is a black jersey. I see this huge white thing. Like, you're doing something with this, with the shadow slider. Like, was this picture backlit when you, because the sun is up here and you were aiming this way? Are all these riders backlit and it was like dark, so you had to recover this much with shadow detail in order to bring that detail back? I'm betting that that's the situation where when the riders actually came and you trained your camera, you're noticing that the sun is over here, which is why only this little part of the sky is blue. If the sun was behind you, this would all be blue. The fact that the sun is coming in from the side, this means that likely all of these riders were in shade, especially based on the shadow detail on their shoulder. So you recovered it. And in recovery, you like absolutely lost it. What you got to do is, in this situation, be on the other side of the street. So you're like, I don't know, man. This is a tricky thing. You have to judge where you stand based on where the sun will be. Because if you look at Tour de France, ooh, that's not right. If you look at Tour de France pictures and look at what other like people who are covering the race and see what their Peloton images look like, and you see this, and you see the detail, right? And you can even see like the same style of photos. Like, you're noticing like they're not like that shadow, that like crazy grain and all that stuff that you're showing in your image. It's not in these photos. So what you're doing in post, I think, is too much. I would love that to be reduced a lot, and I'd love to see what this photo looks like without everything that you did in Lightroom, because I feel like it's a great moment. Does it convey emotion? Yes. But you butchered your file. So this is why you see shooters with flash, because the light changes from them in shadow to in sun to in shadow to in sun so much that everybody who's shooting from the motorcycles, they have usually a flash on their camera, so they're actually able to get like really tight and exposed properly images. So yeah, it's super, super tricky. But you see here images like this where he's in the rain. This picture is done. It's done with flash. You can see it's done with flash. Like, you can actually see like that he's lit with flash. You can see the line here on his jersey, and you can see the doubling under here. So this is how you're able to get that exposure on him and also see the light in the background. It's flash. So you doing it without flash means now you're backlit, and it's so backlit that you have to recover. So I hope that helps you, my guy. Again, you're going to the tour, you wanted to shoot photos, you wait 2 hours, you didn't bring a flash. You know what I mean? Outdoor flash, where this kind of a situation where you have once in a lifetime to do it. And because of that, you got a full silhouette. So I hope that helps you, my friend. Romeo Fowler. The Cry of Courage, the battle cry, inspired by Kara tribe in Africa. Shot on the Fuji X-T3 50mm ISO 250, f9, shutter 250, one love. This is Romeo Fowler conveying emotion. Romeo, let's go, my guy. Conveying emotion, yes, for sure. This is definitely a powerful picture, Romeo. Like, I can see the commitment, as far as the tribal warrior, the artificial light, placement of the light. I mean, it's quite strong. The placement is just a little bit that way. Like, I would move the light. If this is you, and this is your black background and your camera position, you have your light, I'll say right about here. And I can tell because this light is shadowing that corner of the eye and in here, because it's coming in quite hot from the side. Simple fix, just rotate this like 2 feet over. Put it right here. It's literally the same light, only it's gonna light in here just a little bit more. It's gonna make these hard lines just a little bit less. Also, you used hard light, which is cool. It gave you like a bit of a hard shadow in the mouth. We lose a little bit of detail in the mouth. Again, this is your face. This is camera position. And your light. Just drop a reflector right here in front just to kick light up. It's just under here. You can't, it just out of camera view. That's where I would drop it. But for me, this is 100% a yes. This is a yes. Like, no question. This is a yes. Exposure wise, you're hitting light here, but you're missing light in the, like, around the mouth area. Therefore, it's like brighter up in this top. And the exposure here is actually perfect. Exposure here in the teeth, I would want this to be about half a stop brighter. Make sure when you're lighting your face that your light isn't going over the head or your light going below the head. You have to make sure that that light is hitting directly on the face, because you literally, with a light meter, taking a light meter reading here, 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 and under here, you'll notice like the light changes. So make sure that you're taking your reading here and that you're getting really straight placement on the face. This is an 11 for me, Romeo. This absolutely conveys emotion. This is home run, my guy. Well played. Very well done. It's a great show. It's called like swinging for the fences is what I call it. It's just, I'm going to try it. I'm going to go the whole way. And that's what we do. This is Doyle Daniels. I'm only a photographer today because my mom always had a film camera in her hands as I was growing up. I'm convinced of it. Arranged a little photo walk without her knowing that she was the subject I was looking to photograph. Seeing her older now, but with a camera in her hands, evokes great feelings of pride in me. I hope this translates this to you as well. Shot on the Z8 50mm 1.2 at 1.2. Doyle, thousandth of a second. Doyle, ISO 64. Go from 1.2 to 2.8. Go from 1,000th of a second to 500th of a second. Focus is always going to be an issue at 1.2. Don't ever shoot a 1.2 at 1.2, man. Doyle. All right, let's have a look at what Doyle Daniels got for us. Doyle, thanks for submitting. Doyle, this is a pretty fucking wicked picture, excuse my language, but the old Leica, great exposure on her. Like, this is textbook. Exposure on her face is a little low, Exposure here, I would say, is under about a third. Oops, that's horrible writing. It's under by about a third. So do me a favor, is reprocess this and give it 0.3. Give it 0.3 more exposure on the back end. This is excellent, though. I'm really loving it. You managed to nail the focus. She's shooting with the old Leica. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Lovely worn. And again, the depth of field, you did manage to get pretty freaking close with the focus. The hard thing is the side that you're on, this is the close eye, which is the eye that we want to focus on, but her far eye is the eye that's open, which means that's the eye that you have to focus on, which means both of these eyes you have to have in focus, which you can't really do at 1.8, at 1.2, I mean. But this is a win for me. I just want to see a reprocess at plus, call it plus 30% exposure. Just give me this a little bit more. It's just a touch under, but your backstory, the vibe, the feeling of emotion, yeah, 100%. I'm with you. I'm with it. I just want this photo to be just a touch brighter. But yes, this is 100% Doyle. Great shot. Great shot. That's Doyle Daniels, everybody. Andy Phillips. This is my first entry. Today's picture, very bored. Lucy's a barnyard mix. Okay, so shot with T3i, 50 millimeter, 1.8, 60th of a second. Yo, Doyle, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Doyle, thank you. Appreciate you. Doyle gets the smoke. Photo taken with an older DSLR, T3, 50 millimeter, 1.8, a 60th of a second, ISO 100. This is Andy Phillips. Shooting a picture to convey emotion. Andy, thanks for submitting. Again, we know that it's tricky with the dogs as far as conveying emotion. This picture also is very out of focus. This picture is very out of focus. Andy, as you can see, as I zoom in on these eyes, how actually out of focus it is. Whenever a picture is out of focus, it's just a no. It's just simple. It's just a no. And again, it's the beautiful dog. He looks very puppy-like, and a beautiful moment. I've said again earlier, it's like you have the emotional connection with this dog. We don't, meaning your audience, the readers, the viewers. It's a cute dog. Again, there's people who aren't dog people. They like cats over dogs. I'm a dog person. I prefer dogs over cats. But again, I love my dog. You know what I mean? Everyone else's dog is just irritating. They're they're not trained, blah, blah, blah. They don't listen. They're yappy, blah, blah. Screw everyone else's dog. It's only my dog. You know what I mean? Which is how everybody feels. You know what I mean? Which is why photos of dogs are most relevant to super insane dog lovers who like have dog pillows and have 7 dogs and they have dog pictures on the wall and blah, blah, blah. Relevant to those people. But for normal people, it's not relevant. It's just a photo of a dog. Next. And it's an out of focus photo of a dog, which is frustrating. And also, we talked earlier about that. Like, this is a dark dog with no contrast. And the type of light that makes it so, in the exposure, that's a little muddy. And it becomes like we're really trying to convey emotion, but like, it's just a bored dog, dude, that you took a picture of chilling in the backyard. Okay, cool. But that's not moving your needle, and no one's hiring you to make this photo. So no shits are given. You know what I mean? It's only relevant to you and people who know this dog. So trying to shoot your pet because I really like it, it doesn't matter to the rest of the photography world. It doesn't matter to people who are trying to hire you. So are you trying to be the world's best dog photographer? Is that your goal? Is that your goal? Because you submitted a dog photo, and if you submitted a dog photo, it's because dogs are your niche. You're going to be the best dog photographer in the world. Is that your niche? If the answer is no, then why'd you submit a picture of your dog? Because you want to submit. I got that. But I'm here to help you become a photographer, a working photographer. And I gave a very specific assignment, which was to convey emotion. Now, you can imagine there's people, places, or things. Those are 3 different areas where you can make money. You want to be a people photographer, well, there's all kinds of things you can do under the people umbrella. You want to be a things photographer, there's real estate, or there's things would be products or, accessories, fashion accessories. There's all kinds of things under the things. Or places would be real estate photography or architecture, like things like that. Like pick one of the things, like under one of the umbrellas, people, places, or things. Pets is a huge niche, pet photography, amazing. But if you're trying to do pet photography, shooting pictures of pets like lying down, bro, no, that's not the vibe. I don't think that you're trying to do pet photography. I just think that you took a picture of your dog and submitted it because it's your first submission and you don't know how insane I am. That's all. I just think that you're just learning, which is more than allowed. Let me show you dog photography. If you're, again, if this is what you're doing, if that's what you're doing, here, let's look at the best dog photographer I know, who I'm going to bring on as a guest, Kevin Sarensen, who is literally a Toronto photographer. Okay. He has a wait list. Okay. For people to photograph like their dog, a wait list. So if you want to see some dog photography, like, let me show you dog photography. If you want to see it. You know what I mean? So again, how far are you trying to go with your craft? How far are you trying to go? Because sadly, if you're trying to show emotion with your dog, I guess I just trumped you showing emotion by showing you how this photographer shows emotion using dogs. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? So, sadly, this isn't gonna cut it as far as the life of a working pro. And I know you're new, so I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm not trying to discourage you at all, Andy. But what I'm trying to do is understand who it is that you're trying to be. I'm trying to understand who you're trying to be. Are you a dog photographer? If the answer is no, your dog was cute and you just took a picture and submitted it, cool. Just don't do that. Try to figure out who it is that you're trying to be, what kind of photographer you're trying to be, and then only shoot that kind of work. Submit that kind of work and let me turn you into a photographer. Cool? These whole like taking pictures of shit that you see. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at it. Cool. That's fun. That's level 1. That's learning how to operate a camera. Cool. I'm trying to teach you how to be a pro, a working pro. No one cares about the things that you think are interesting. Nobody. People care about the things that they think are interesting. So you need to photograph things that they think are interesting, which is what people hire you to do, which is like they have a business. They think pictures of their restaurant would be interesting because it would make them money. So learn how to take pictures of interiors of restaurants. Or if you want to be a dog photographer, look at other dog photographers and see the level that it's at in 2024 and then be better than them. You know what I mean? So again, it's like, you see, this isn't a joke. This isn't like, oh, just take a picture and submit it to this guy on YouTube who's going to tell you, oh my God, you're so great. That's not me. If that's what you're looking for, please find someone else. That's not me. I'm here to help you be a pro. All right. So Andy, that is not, you gotta swing higher, swing harder, aim higher, try harder, do better as all my requests. Okay. And help me understand what kind of a photographer it is that you're trying to be. We're looking for photos that convey emotion. It has to go further than a sleeping dog. I hope you understand. All right, this is Nina Gallegos. I use mirrors, pictures on my laptop, and black fabric. I had continuous light pointed into the ceiling to key light the product. I decided to extend the mood of the product. ISO 400, shot at f10, a fifth of a second. This is Nina. And again, Nina, you shoot products, so it's super hard for you to convey emotion with your product, but I like your idea. I like your idea technically. I like how you're using mirrors as the background as part of the props, but Yes, you used a black fabric, but it looks very much like you had to do some cleaning up, didn't you? Because look at the cleaning up that you did, Nina. When I'm looking at this cleanup and the edges of this mirror and where the black actually isn't black, where you actually had to, like, what is happening in here, in this whole area in here where you can't really get to because you got this sunburst in here. It just, once we start to really dive into it, it starts to become a bit of a mess. So it's because of the exposure. It's because of the way that you're doing it. It's because that these are actually lying on top of the fabric and you're actually seeing the fabric, and then you're trying, like, what you need to do is literally, like, what you would do is take mirrors and put them on straws, right? And then you take another mirror and you put it on a straw, and then you have a bunch of these mirrors on straws. So they're not actually on the same plane. And then you can have them positioned in different ways instead of just them being like mirror, 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 throw your product down and then take a picture, which is what you did, right? You need to add dimension. So if this is your flat lay and this is your product, where which it was square. This is your flat lay and this is your product. Get things on a different dimension. Put your mirrors here. Have a shorter one here. Have a longer one here. And now you have depth where there's mirrors that are way big. And then now you're shooting through this maze to get to your product, and you're not worrying about having to do this cleanup that's happening here because this is right flat on a background. And also the way that you're lighting, if you're not lighting into a V flat, you're going to get these hot spots. Again, we've talked about that. You have a hot spot because you're lighting from a single source down on here. You need to get a V flat, which will look literally like this. And then your light goes in this way and then bounces out, and the whole piece becomes the light. And now you have way nicer rims on all of your pieces. You know what I mean? Like, for me, this is a miss.
Question?
The light is hitting this down here nicely. We're missing a little bit of the top with the chill logo. Thank you, Calligraphy. We're missing a little bit of the exposure here on, like, a big part of this. The angle, the way that the THC and the blah, 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 like, this is, we're not getting enough of what the product is. This is just a hard photo to do, Nina. Like, it's hard. This is really hard. And I know, and again, showing emotion this way, like, I would have used a face and had the package just super clean background, poppy color, maybe matching some with like a pink background, have the product and have someone reaching in and like eyes big or like that kind of a thing, like with the product, but you're using the face and the eye contact and like that vibe to kind of like, oh my God, what's in this package? Like, you turned it a total other way and is like, this is a still life. And I'm going to do like a pop art thing with the mirrors. And like, I appreciate the idea, but you can see as soon as you're in post-production and started having to do, that's when the idea gets scrapped and you do another idea. As soon as you're in post trying to clean up the edges and this, it's just like, this isn't working. So you can see the framing here. It's a little tight to here, extra space here. It's like, it starts like, I mean, I'm not trying to just rip it apart, you know. The contrast though, like the mirror idea, you had something. It's just trying to shoot it on a flat plane, I think, is where you lost it. You needed to play with depth. Reshoot it, try it like that. Let me know how it works. This was Nina Gallegos speaker. Thank you, Nina. All right. We're back. We have 4 more photos. This is Richard Loftus II. Hey, Carty, took a few weeks off from submitting, and in order to work on improving my use of exposure. This was my brother's kid's first experience with walking in water on the beach with his mom's help. Shot with the R6 Mark II, 70 to 300 at 160 at a 400th of a second, 5.6 at ISO 1600. Okay, let's have a look at Richard Loftus the second. Richard, thanks for submitting, Richard. Richard, the emotion, yes. Look at the look in this kid's face. Like, he's living a life that he's never experienced before. Like, just that look. And again, I want you to watch, like, again, if there's any kind of blur that's happening. And for me, some of the blur that you're seeing here is because of the 75 to 300 millimeter lens. Like, I'll say, I know that you're doing a little bit of something in here in post, but there's also just an inherent softness to a lens that has 32 elements. You know what I mean? Yes, it gives you compression, but you could easily execute this same photo with a 135. You know what I mean? Just a simple 135 f2 or a 100 millimeter f2.8, or an 85 millimeter 1.8. Like, think less glass, not more. And if I do just a search 75 to 300 millimeter lens groups, let's search lens elements. So the average 75 to 300 has 13 elements in 9 groups. Wow, I thought it had more. Let's look at an 85. Let's look at an 85 millimeter. Oh, no, go back. There you go. Let's look at an 85 millimeter. 85 millimeter. 85 millimeter has, let's look. 85 millimeter Canon. They have 9 elements in 7 groups. Interesting. The 70 to 300 I really thought had way more elements than that. Still, I think it's soft. What I'd like is to see this raw file, because I want to see if it's something that you're doing in post. For me, this is a win, though. This is a win because it 100% it nails the assignment, which is conveying emotion. And number 2, it's framed like a absolute editorial magazine cover. Like, the background, the water, the reflection of the sky, the hands, just the hint of the hands, enough for balance, but the picture is clearly not about the mom, it's about this child. The outfit that he's wearing, the striped shirt, very beachy, the punchy yellow as a contrast. Like, this is why I talk about contrast. Look at these shorts in contrast to the water. Look at the shirt and how the shirt matches the water, and how the hands are the only element from the mom. Like, this is 100% a yes for me. I just want you to get better glass, because I honestly think that you got the makings of an amazing photographer. I just want you to have the right tools. Seriously. Stay away from zooms. Zoom with your feet. Zooms, I honestly believe, make us lazy. All right. And also make us shoot at focal lengths like, oh, I shot this at 18.35 millimeter. It's like, oh, I shot this at 73. It's like, there's no 73 millimeter lenses. It's like, yeah, well, that's where I zoomed to. It's like, this is why. It's just like, there's no rhyme or reason. Like, shoot like specific focal lengths. This is why every film, it's like 24, 28, 35, 50, 85, 100, 135, like 200. Like, those are the focal lengths. Like, get used to the. If I use a zoom, because I have a 24 to 70 that I got from Canon when I was sponsored, and a 70 to 200 I also got from them, I'll zoom it to like exactly 135 or exactly 180 or exactly 200. Like I don't ever like halfway in, like I zoom to the exact focal length. Like I'm crazy like that. If I wasn't clear, this is an 11, by the way. Well done. All right. We are in our last few, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's show. We've been going for almost 3 hours. It shows you how dedicated I am to helping you get to the next level with your pictures, and also how, like, you can't mail it in with me. You can't. I don't care whether I've been looking at photos for 5 minutes or for 4 hours. You can't mail it in. And, like, great photography is just going to charge me. It's going to bring me back to life. But mailing it in, whew. Mark Sawyer. Let's go, Mark Sawyer. Thanks for becoming a member, my guy. Welcome to the Carty crew. I'm glad you're here. Oh my goodness. Let me talk to, wait, I got some old people I got to talk to. Guys, Mark just became a member. Can you say hi to Mark? You too? Do you appreciate, do you mind? Amazing. He already hit the join button. This one has, anyways, Mark, thank you. Appreciate you. All right. So Dan Evans, here's my assignment. Canon 5D Mark II, Sigma 50mm, 1/60th of a second, shot with a 41-inch umbrella with diffuser. This is Dan Evans. Dan Evans showing emotion. Dan, thanks for submitting. Welcome. Welcome. Well, does this show emotion? Absolutely. It absolutely does show emotion for sure. I think it's a little soft, which again,
Question?
it's it happens sometimes. It happens sometimes. It happens sometimes when you have like slow shutter speed, a little camera shake, kid moves a bit. You're not like, where I look for my focus is right here between the white and the color of the eye. In this case, because her head is rotating this way, this is the close eye. So this is the eye that I'm focusing right there. And again, it's like the slightest movement sometimes means out of focus. And in this case, this photo isn't sharp enough to, for me, let this out. Like I wouldn't let this picture out because it's too soft. It's too soft by my standards, and it should also be too soft by yours. It should also be too soft by your standards, and I need you to lock in what those standards are. If you can't see clear, hard edge eyelashes, if you can't see veins in the eyes, a hard line here, it's out of focus. And again, that's why we shoot hundreds of frames. That's literally why we shoot hundreds of frames. And especially when we're shooting kids, we shoot hundreds of frames. As far as this picture though, look at this as a cover. Look at the emotion. Look at the vibes. Look at how happy this kid is. Like, does this convey emotion? 100%. 100%. Is it like, you're so close here as far as like a really capable, beautiful photo of this child. You know, the gradient in the background, we got to make sure that this vibe doesn't look dated. You know, I do gradients from time to time, but I always try to make it look modern and slick. Seeing the bottom of the background and a little bit of your wood floor, we can just crop that using like, you know, being straight. And it also looks like it's just based on what the floor looks like here. It looks like it's a little, like the seamless was like cut diagonally or something. It wasn't like, just make sure, just clean up all this stuff, man, and knock out your focus. Make sure your focus is undeniable, and you are going to be a photographer to be reckoned with, my guy. You nailed this. Convey emotion, boom. Make sure your focus is top notch. Your exposure is bang on. You look like you have a light meter. Let's go. If you don't have a light meter, it definitely looks like you understand how to see exposure, and you can recognize normal from under or over. Good for you. Good shit. All right. Mike Lilly says, this week's assignment brings us to the People's Theater. This is in North Carolina. It opened in 1911. It closed in the 70s. Shot on this Sony A7 III 55mm 1.8 Carl Zeiss lens, f6.3, shot at an 80th of a second, ISO 250. This is Mike Lilly. Now, Mike, you make me happy. This is spot on, Mike. As far as like a picture that just haunts me, but also like I just get it. I get it. I'm a bit sad that that I don't see the full top of this building, but actually it kind of turns into these Lego stairs and these beautiful negative space shapes. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Let's look at it as a cover. Does this convey emotion? Yes, it does. And again, it's funny because this is what I asked Mike's wife for perspective wise. I'm like, give it to me straight, lady. Cynthia, give it to me straight. I want to see it this way. And this because like, I want to see the closeness. I want to see like how this building is smashed in between these two other buildings that are working businesses. And this one's kind of decrepit and this sign is kind of off and this is off and this is crooked and the doors are all jacked. And like this darkness in here, would I like a little bit more detail in here? Sure. But not seeing detail there when it's shot this way straight on, when there's nothing distracting in the foreground, there's no leading line or anything in the background that my eye is like fighting with. It's just this structure and the clouds, like the clouds, the ominous clouds make this photo convey emotion and a sadness and a fear. And like, I don't want to go in there. I don't know what's in there. Like, who's in that doorway? Like, it creates tension. And that's what I was trying to get, Cynthia, when I was talking about just jump, like hitting it that way. And again, you two are husband and wife. You're a team, but you're individually different photographers. And there is times when Mike just smashes it. And this is one of those weeks, man. Mike fucking smashed this. He got you this week, Cynthia, but next week is going to be different because I know like your take and your choice of place, you had all the right elements with that place. It's just about, I needed some sort of like a doll, a forgotten toy, like something. And I wanted it to be hit more literal like this. Mike Lilly, congratulations, buddy. That's an 11. That's an 11. Woo-wee. Guys, I have a Pro Accelerator and I've just finished phase 6, which means we are in a little bit of what we call rebuilding, meaning we start again in phase 1. But before I do phase 1, I'm going to do 2 master classes. I'm going to do one called Setting Your Stage, and then we're going to get into phase 1. If you're thinking about joining my accelerator, my Pro Accelerator, now would be the time to join. I'm only going to open it up, I think, to like 20 extra shooters. I was trying to get 100 people in. I think I'm going to go in stages. I think I'm going to wait until next year before I have 100 people in. I think it's going to be graduate from like 50 into like 75. We're going to try to keep it around 75. So this time, by the way, this is as serious as a heart attack. When my Pro Accelerator opens and you get the notification, there's going to be a waiting list. The amount of people who are going to be on the waiting list, imagine there's going to be 100, 150 people on the waiting list who are going to want the 20 spots that are going to be available. 20 spots. So this is how I'm going to get these 20 spots to be filled like that. And then the accelerator is closed. I mean, it's happening, but you're not going to be able to join once it starts. So I'm able to keep everybody who's in the accelerator together. No one's going to be behind. We are all doing this whole thing together, and everybody's going to be leveling up together. So there's nobody who's going to be jumping in halfway. So if you want in, there is going to be a waiting list. And when I drop the button saying it's open, the first 20 people who jump in and pay are those going to be the people who get in those next 20 spots. And then I'll open it again in spring. So that's how it's going to work. Mike Lilly, you got an 11, if that wasn't clear. Congratulations, my guy. Great shot. So, Pro Accelerator. And then again, with my one-on-one training, I can help, I think, 8 people but maybe 5, depending on how crazy my accelerator goes. If I actually get to 75 people in my accelerator, I'm going to start wanting to do less one-on-one because it's so much more efficient to do it one-to-group than one-to-one. So therefore, my one-to-one is the most expensive because it takes up the most amount of my time. And I'm super like focused when I'm doing one-on-one coaching with somebody. You can't talk to me. So if you're interested in that, I have maybe 2 spots left for one-on-one coaching. All right. So that was Mike Lilly. Congratulations, Mike. This is Taylor Valentine. A few things in the way. Nikon Z6 Mark II, 24 to 70 f4, shot at 24 f4, 1/8 of a second, ISO 100. This is Taylor Valentine, conveying emotion. Thanks for submitting, Taylor. This is a tricky one for me. You know, it's like, it's the elements are there, the light is there, there's a vibe. I'm just not sure the emotion that I'm supposed to feel. Like, I don't ride motorcycles, I ride bikes, but it's like, I mean, my brother rides motorcycles, and I know like that anticipation, like I know that feeling, but I'm lost with the context of the placement. Like where it is, just in a basement or it's in a garage, and like there's a drink that's spilled, and like I don't know enough. There's papers that are there. I'm not sure how the papers are related to the scene. Like it's a tricky one for me. I mean, I definitely am liking your exposure and your focus. I just think that I need a little bit more context in order to tell the story that we're trying to tell, like at an instant. We're supposed to be able to look at it and be like, oh yeah, I totally hate when that happens, or I get it, or whatever. You know what I mean? This one, it creates a little bit more mystery. It's definitely an editorial picture. So like editorially, like for a magazine, like I definitely see it, but it needs more context. And I'm trying to teach you how to convey emotion instantly. And this week's assignment is really going to help. I hope that helps you. I feel like I just need a little bit more context. As far as technical, your technical is really strong. It looks like you're lighting through a car window based on the shape of this. I'm also wondering about the shape of the light and where the shadow detail is. Could you punch in? Like, because this is a little bit, this is what the important thing is, but we're not shooting a square picture. Because when you're looking up at the top of this frame, like there's nothing really that's interesting up here, except for like this cracks on the wall. Again, I just need more context. I hope that helps you. Guys, I need to pick my shots of the week and give you this week's assignment. I do have a dope merch store, by the way. It's called the CartyMethodShop.com. You'll see merch like here, Creative Collection. I'm actually wearing shorts from the Creative Collection. Look at this. I just got my shorts from the Creative Collection. Yes, calligraphy. Let's talk here about, well, dude, do a 3-hour stream and you'll need to be hosed off as well. All right. So, I'm going to pick some photos of the week, but I also want you to know in the video description, I put all kinds of gold. Don't forget, if you want to have your photos reviewed, you got to go here. There's a couple more slots. I cut this off once I have 75 people. So if you want to have your opportunity to have your photos looked at, definitely do that. Also, if today's content brings you value, consider subscribing. Subscribing is free. You get notified whenever I do this, which is every Thursday. I also go live Tuesdays and Sundays. Okay, you watch this, and then I'll tell you who photos of the week are. How's that? Yeah?
I'm guessing you're passionate about photography, but navigating the leap from hobbyist to professional can feel like a daunting, solitary journey. You know that you have the potential, but what you need is a clear path and expert guidance. I'm sure you also know that photography school costs upwards of $50,000, or maybe you think you're too old to go back to school. That's where I come in. I can give you delivery of my patented Carty method one-on-one. It's not just any mentorship, it's a personalized deep dive into a proven 6-phase system that I've developed over my 33-year career. Together, we'll walk through each phase of the Carty method, tailored specifically to your needs and your pace. Whether it's mastering the art of composition, or understanding the business side of photography, or even developing your unique style, I'll be there to guide you every step of the way. You can take the first step towards realizing your dream of becoming a professional photographer very simply. Enroll in the Carty Method one-on-one mentorship today. With personalized guidance and actionable steps at every session, you're not just learning, you're actually transforming. My time is limited. There's only 24 hours in a day, so I can only take on 8 shooters this way. So apply now to secure your spot and start your journey to becoming a professional photographer.
All right, everybody. All right, we are just about there as far as who I'm giving photos of the week to. Just about there. And again, it's like, there's no favorites. It really is just the best work from you. That's it. That's it. That's it. And the whole idea was photos that conveyed emotion. That's all I asked for, right? And we're going to start our photos of the week with this photographer right here. Our first photo of the week goes to Ammon Thompson. Ammon, congratulations with this very Carty approved photo of the week showing emotion. You were the first one that hit really hard for me. Thanks so much for submitting. That's Ammon Thompson, everybody, with our first photo of the week. Our next photo of the week, people. They're very proud of this photographer, very proud, and he'll tell you I'm hard on him. I'm really not. People, this is Calligraphy Ridgley, photo of the week. Calligraphy showing emotion. Calligraphy, this is not calligraphy, this is a portrait from Calligraphy. Don't get it twisted. Calligraphy, congratulations, buddy. Proud of you. All right, our next photo of the week. Photo of the week goes to... Our next photo of the week goes to this very, very emotionally charged photo. Next photo of the week goes to Stu Bowden with this photo right here. Stu Bowden, photo of the week. Carty approved. Let's go, baby. Congratulations, Stu. Not sure if you've won a photo of the week before, but you have now. Congratulations. All right, our next photo of the week winner. Hey, proud of this one too. Mike Morrison. Congratulations, Mike. Photo of the week. It's amazing, amazing photo that captures for reals emotion. Mike Morrison. Let's go, Mike. Congratulations. All right, our next photo of the week winner. This makes me happy, man. Our next photo of the week winner goes to, I just want to make sure because there's a lot. I don't want to mix up who the names are and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know. I don't even really need to look, but I need to look, you know, just to make sure because it's embarrassing if you get the wrong name. Guys, this next photographer, not his niche, but he killed this one. This is Kyle Gag with this photo of the week. Congratulations, Kyle Gag, the environmental product shooter, ripping it in the portrait category. Congratulations. That's a photo of the week. All right. And a new shooter has been watching me for probably a month now. The progress is real. Ladies and gentlemen, first photo of the week for the one they call Marvin. Let's go, Marvin. Photo of the week, baby. Marvin. Is it Marvin Johnson? I want to say. Photo of the week. Congratulations. Let me just make sure that is last name. Marvin, where are your photo hereby? Where's your photo thereby? There you are. Marvin Miller. There you go. Marvin Miller. That's you. Photo of the week, baby. Marvin Miller. Photo of the week. Let's go. Congratulations, Marvin Miller. All right, Marvin. Ooh, next photo of the week. Anaka. Let's go, Anna. Congratulations. Let's go, Anna. Oops, I pushed the wrong button. But Anna gets photo of the week. This one right here. Congratulations, Anna. Anna, we got to give you the smoke and the applause again. Photo of the week. Let's go. Anna Kaya. Congratulations, Anna. It's a picture of her son, broken arm, high summer, pissed off. Love it. Love it. Love it. So good. Okay, wait. We're going to change the order. I'm going to change the order just to mess with you a little. Change the order, but it messes with me too, so I want to make sure that that doesn't happen. Oh, here we go. All right, our next photo of the week goes to Richard Loftus. There you go, my guy. Photo of the week. Richard Loftus. Congratulations, my guy. Photo of the week. It's Carty approved. It's Carty approved. Photo of the week. Richard Loftus. Let's go, my guy. Our next photo of the week. I'm telling you, this photo was so good, even if I was a little frustrated by one little thing, still I have to give it to you. Our next photo of the week. Conveying emotion. Dan Evans. Congratulations. Let's go. Photo of the week. Not sure if that's your first, Dan, but this conveys everything. Great job. Photo of the week. Well done. Well done. Great shot. Our next photo of the week. I said our next photo of the week.
Goes to the one they call
Mike Lilly. Let's go, Mike Lilly. Photo of the week, baby. Welcome back to the Photo of the Week Club, Mike Lilly. This haunts my dreams. Thank you for that, Mike Lilly. And where was my man Spetty Sanchez when it comes to my crafting some emotion in their photos, yo? Doyle, thanks for the $10, man. I don't know how I missed that. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Doyle, the smoke. Doyle Daniels, thank you, my guy. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Doyle. Our last photo of the week, people. Our very last photo of the week goes to the one they call Romeo Fowler. Photo of the week. Congratulations, Romeo. Everybody who won Photo of the Week, thank you. Thank you for submitting. Everybody who submitted, period, thank you for submitting. But I do like to give one overall best in show. I like to give one best in show, one that like really hit, one that really conveyed the right emotion, one that actually really followed the brief, really followed the brief, and also like had a little bit of fun with it, you know. I'm going to give this coveted prize of best in show to, ladies and gentlemen, this week's best in show goes to Stu Bowden. Let's go, baby. That says photo of the week, but this one says best in show because you just won it. Best in show for a photo conveying emotion. This just made my life. And Best in Show is a hard one to win. I went a little bit different with my awarding of Best in Show this week, and I think that this photo deserved it. It's not a perfect photo, but it is by far a perfect photo. If that makes sense to you, then you know what I'm talking about. This is perfectly imperfect. I love it. Guys, those are your photos. Now, do you want this week's assignment? This week's assignment, I actually, it's going to take me a little bit of time to type it out, but I'm going to verbally tell you right now. Give me some minutes, because I've been live for 3 hours here. I got to have a little chill and have a tea, have a pee before I write out this assignment. But this week's assignment is simple, but it's hard. And you are going to have so much fun with this. This week, I'm asking you to make photos with a twist. That is all I am asking for. That is your brief. I want this week a horizontal photo for a double page. This is the opening photograph to the article. Okay. This is the opening photograph to the article. Okay. So opening photographs command they need something that is just a little bit special, something that's just a little bit extra. And the reason that Chris Buck is one of the most successful portrait photographers is because when I say photos with a twist is what Chris Buck does. This is what he does. He makes photos with a twist. So my ask for you is to, within your niche, somehow within your niche, figure out a way to shoot a portrait for your portfolio with a twist. A portrait that if you saw this picture, if somebody saw this picture in your portfolio, they would be like, oh my God, I'm hiring this guy, this girl, this photographer. I'm asking for a picture with a twist. I don't care what the twist is, but I need you to stop thinking so fucking literal when it comes to photography. And I need you to, excuse my language, but I need this. I need you to stop thinking so fucking literal with your pictures. And I need you to make pictures with a twist. That is this week's assignment. This could be the most important assignment that you ever do. This is not for me. This is for you. This is for you to find something that is not just like dig deep, because I'm getting tired of boring photographs. Okay. I'm getting tired. I want you to try hard. I want you to dig deep and bring a twist to your niche. That is your assignment. I'll see you guys on Sunday. I love you all. This commercial-free episode, over 3 hours and 9 minutes of commercial-free content for you for free, bringing you value, helping you get to the next level with your photography. What you could do is you could become a member and help support this whole thing so I don't lose my goddamn marbles. I'm trying to just help you get better. I'm trying you to see things in a different way. I'm trying to help you push past the typical, because I'm telling you, there is no room for typical photographers anymore. The 21st century photographer isn't a photographer anymore. We have bridged the gap to becoming an idea factory, a idea executor. We have design sense, visual sensibility. We understand how to be on camera, how to be engaging. The 21st century photographer is way more than a photographer. And that is what I teach people how to do. Welcome. This is the Carty Method. Thank you for watching. If you became a member recently, I just typed your name by hand and put a little crown beside it and scrolled you right here across the top of the screen. The last 25 of you. And again, if you became a believer recently, I just put your name across the bottom because subscribers, that's how you start. You find me, you sub, you become a member, you join the program, and I turn you into a working pro. I love you all.